Welcome to Meadowbrook Memories Podcast. I am Jelly, otherwise known as Glacier Prince, and my co-host is Hitchcock, otherwise known as Alfred Henry. Our mission on this podcast series is to explore the stories behind the magic that was created at Meadowbrook. When over a span of 4 years, between 1982 and 1986, we saw the transformation of a small coeducational school with less than 1,200 students, 800 boys, 800 girls and 400 boys into a successful sports and scholastic champion, winning 7 major trophies, 3 Sunlight Cup, 2 Topping Cup, 1 Walker Cup, and 1 Nutriment Shield. And to crown these achievements, Meadowbrook also produced 2 Rhodes Scholars, Cavell Creighton in 1987 and Andrea Wright in 1989, both graduates of Meadowbrook in 1983. In this podcast series, we'll be speaking to persons, both males and female, who were actively involved in this incredible journey, along with friends and staff at Meadowbrook, which inspired the environment which created this golden era. We hope you enjoy our discussion. Please give us as much support and encouragement as you can on whatever social media platform you are listening. Welcome and thanks for joining us. All right, ready? So, before you start listening, remember to subscribe to Meadowbrook Memories YouTube channel and never miss another memorable episode as it goes directly to your inbox once you subscribe. Thanks. Go. Today is Sunday, November 20th, 2022. And welcome back to another conversation about Meadowbrook Memories. Me, as usual, Jelly, our Prince, our Glacier, our Lance, and by now you know say any one of them name they will do. Co-hosting me today are 2 co-hosts me have today, because a big guest we have today, so I have 2 co-hosts to deal with them. It's the best night.
Physical.
And the best, one of the co-hosts of the best night watching in the business, that means Dante, our Greg. And welcome back, Dante. You're up on this thing all the while.
Yeah.
You not hesitate to come at all.
Yeah, man. Healings, everybody.
And the next guest, first time I come back, I'm co-host. I've been on this program before, 3 months come out yet. And when we realize I'm the most underrated footballer ever come to Meadowbrook, so
far.
welcome back,
Yeah.
Roman. Welcome back here. Yeah.
Respect.
Our guest today will get a proper introduction because he's responsible for making sure that the march to Bottomfield and many sports day was like the original carnival of Meadowbrook. Because him lead the drum corps to Bottomfield. I never know that because that happened after me leave school. And our guest started in Meadowbrook in 1978. But in my day, I have to tell him one story. I'm not going out now, but enough time man come up on this podcast and talk about this guest who lead the cadet drum corps and one of the best they ever say. So without further ado, I will introduce the guest today. Welcome, Norman Naar. Well, introduce yourself, my brother.
Yeah, Jelly, well, listen. First of all, Norman Naar, the name, you did say it. Started Meadowbrook 1978. Graduated 5th form 1983. Continued in 6th form for 2 years after that and left in 1985.
Yeah, man. Welcome.
So my span at Meadowbrook was from 1978 to 1985.
7 years at Meadowbrook. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meadowbrook are one of the most productive period of Meadowbrook, man. That era there was the most successful time of Meadowbrook sometime there.
Yeah.
The golden age, we call it. The golden age now, man.
Yeah. You know, I must tell you though, I mean, thank you for inviting me to be amongst the esteemed colleagues who over the months you have been having this session with, you know. So I'm honored to be one of those that you have invited to join the program. And but I'm listening to some of the session and I say, oh, them man, they remember all them things there. So,
well, you're going to find out today. When you come here to start talk, things just come up, yeah.
If my mind eludes me, I beg you, forgive me.
No, man, don't worry yourself, man. Don't worry yourself. That's why I'm saying in the book them this morning. You look on the picture of them and you jar your memory certainly and look and say certain things come up. You know?
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
So welcome now, man, and welcome back. Raymond, introduce back yourself.
Yeah, man. Same like now, man. Started Meadowbrook 1978, graduated 83. repeated fifth form and then went to sixth form for 2 more years. So I left Meadowbrook a year after Norman graduated sixth form. So, yeah, man, it's a pleasure to be here with my brother, man. Esteemed, I never introduced him properly, Jelly. The esteemed drum major. I saw you have
to bring him up. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm glad. That's why I have you and Tegra if you introduce him properly. No worry.
Yeah, there's nobody my tenure that I was at Meadowbrook, nobody did it better than Norman. Trust me.
Yeah,
man.
We're going to talk about that enough, man. And Dante,
Yeah.
Tegra, introduce yourself back, my brother.
Yeah, man. Everyone know me. Tegre, Dante, Donovan Thomas, any one of them, as you say, Jelly. And for me, it's always a pleasure, to be in the company of the Meadowbrook greats. Here I am today again with 3 greats,
Yeah.
3 persons that have been very inspirational for me personally from Meadowbrook days until now. So, looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming, brother. Thank you. And trust me now, man. The honor is mine here, sir. When we start this conversation, I never anticipate, but I get such an overwhelming response to people who want to come and talk. Me just think,
Oh yeah.
no, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't just expect someone that's gonna come. I'm gonna just talk to my cricketer friend them. I would just talk, and if we want to listen to the conversation, I could do that. So this has been the honor is mine, my brother. I can't tell you that. In time a man say yes to me, I feel honored that a man will come join the conversation. That's how I look on it, So thank you, my brother. Thank you. But anyway, before I ask you the first question, Norman, as I said, I want to indulge a little bit because I want to honor my brethren, I'm going to just read something I write because yesterday was Saturday, November 19, 2022, and a member of that history-making 1982 Meadowbrook Sunlight Cup team was laid to rest, Noel Alfonso Curtis. It was my hope that when I started these Meadowbrook members' conversation, that I would be able to ultimately talk to all surviving members of that squad and coaching staff who are the inspirations for these Meadowbrook members' conversation. I know Piggy Williams was no longer with us, but it's with deep sadness that my brethren Noel won't be able to come and share his memories. However, I will take this opportunity to share my memories of Fanso, as I used to call him. He was a critical member of that 1982 winning Sunlight Cup team and was the MVP in the semi-final victory over St. Catherine, where he was top scorer, making 44 runs, and was the top wicket taker, taking 4 wickets for 12 runs. In the final versus Calabar, Noel and I put on the most significant partnership of that total of 216, a partnership of 66 with the 5th wicket, when Calabar was threatening to run through our middle order and bowl Meadowbrook out for an uncompetitive score, where his contribution was 28, his 3rd top scorer for Meadowbrook in that final. I give all these cricketing details to document the receipts to show that Noel Alfonso Curtis was no ordinary cricketer. And you're gone way too soon, my brother. However, your contribution to Meadowbrook cricket will never be forgotten. So, if you want to add anything, you can say what you want to say about. If you want to add something to that, Dante or Raymond or Norman, you can do that. I can start.
Yeah.
No, I would like to just say a few things real quick because, as I had mentioned to you gentlemen earlier, the relationship that I had with Fanso goes way back from childhood days. I mean, like prior to Meadowbrook. So, it is indeed with great sadness that we mourn his passing, his passing, and just condolences going out to the family, and just again, just want to big him up as part of the Meadowbrook crew and the impact that he's had on the school and on the lives of all of the people like me coming up behind him and just kind of trying to follow in some of his footsteps, the great things that he did for the school. So. Just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I just like to say, as I said earlier, it's always a pleasure being amongst the greats. And it was always a pleasure as well, being amongst or seeing Fonso, Noel, in the years, a hillsman like myself saw him quite a few times on some ends, even in his latter days, whenever I saw him, we always had a chit chat. He spoke fluently about even the current state of cricket in the West Indies and the country and thing. So, gone too soon, it's a sad day.
Yeah, man, gone too soon, but
Yeah,
never,
man.
never be
Yeah, man.
forgotten, brother. That's all I'm
Yeah,
going to
man.
say. And now, man,
Yeah, for my
yeah,
part,
go ahead,
I just wanna quickly say, both Tegre and Dante and Raymond, as said it eloquently. Add my condolences to family and friends. And just to say for my own part, after he left Meadowbrook, I didn't see him any at all. I've not seen him any at all. But my experience of him during the time that I was there, as I said before in the discussion, I remember him to be a good guy, and I mean it in a, just a normal way. It was somebody that I admired, and it's part of life, but sad to see that it's happening at this point in time. So, just my 2 cents on Curtis.
yeah, man. Thank you, now, my brother. Thank you, now. So now, man, by now, say, anybody listen to them conversation, the first question I always ask, did you choose Meadowbrook or Meadowbrook chose you?
Yeah, well, Meadowbrook chose me. Meadowbrook chose me. As you know, in that time and era, I don't know that anybody fill out that form, that common entrance form. you know, I'd take Meadowbrook beside it. You understand? But for me, I'd picked for Calabar and St. George's. But what I can say to you though, on my avenue where I used to live in Duane Park at the time, there are a number of us, and the morning when common entrance result come out, and everybody has celebrate or them pass common entrance, and them say, Gary, because that was my yard name, what I'm called at home. Gary, oh, you stay? And, all know, I can't find my name. And my uncle, remember, we go inside and my uncle asleep and say, so how it go? I say, well, no, we're not checking yet, I don't check yet and we don't find out yet. And me I tell her, say, tears in my eye and me get vexed, I open the gleaner and I'm going through and me I look in every school now. Me I look Happy Grove High, Ferncourt High, Immaculate Conception, every school me I look. And me I tell you this, in the periphery of my eye, me see the word Naar. Me not see it, just the periphery of my eye, sideways, I see the word Naar. Nobody else the name Naar. I'm tell you, son, me jump up in a ear and dash to that newspaper and roll upon the ground. Me never know how it feel like to be able to cry for joy. That was my first and one of the happiest moments I can remember in my life. Is after me circle after the dust, finish rolling the dirt and everything. And go back and look for the paper now. I say, all right, which school this? I look up and I say, Meadowbrook. I say, where that there? You understand? But, I mean, there is one history, my mother, we celebrated it and, I mean, it was my first chance at common entrance, so I passed it. And it turned out there were two other guys. Well, Dwight Lawrence, Mark Jamel, and Dave Fairman. One Dave to which I'm friend to this day. We're bona fide. All four of us came from Duane Park Primary, and we passed some Meadowbrook High. So yeah, that was how it started.
Yeah. I hear you. So you have no idea what Meadowbrook at the time.
No, absolutely no idea. And, by this time, no, my mother, did the investigation and find out from Duane Park, we have to take two bus, one go up the boulevard and come off Calabar and then take a 37 and go down. So there are different options, whether it is 37 or 38 to get down to Meadowbrook. But you had to take 2 buses. And, them time them leave early in the morning, for read school and thing. When I read school at dark, those days. But it was a joy to kick off at Meadowbrook, and the encounters that ensued.
So the first day you come on the campus, man. What you think? When you come the first time you come on Meadowbrook campus, what was your feeling when you come on the campus itself? What impression you get at the school?
Well, what I was happy about was that there were girls there, So
Yes.
If nothing else, there was girls there. I will tell you, you have some pretty girl. I want to call her name now. Because, some of them listen to the podcast and thing. But I say, yes, brother.
Yeah, man.
I can't say that I remember everything verbatim, but those were, certainly the high points, just seeing that, it was a co-ed school, etc. And just seeing the people, you understand? That was there. That was, eye-opening, if you will.
Yeah.
So, those were the initial days.
And come to things about
those are
the 2 schools I pick for 2 boys school and come and I say girl, I say, wait, what is?
Yeah, man. That was.
Angeli, no average girl either, no, some pretty girl.
No, pretty girl. Some pretty girl.
Pretty girl.
That's that. What we used to call pretty girl, but I mean, everybody.
Out of the top
Back
job,
in the
man.
day.
That was part of the course I Meadowbrook when we started to see him, man. The quality, and I just say when I have to call him or not there now, man. But you know what I say, because the quality was just,
Yeah. And I'm not even just talking about first time, I remember some girls, I'm seeing them in white shirt now in my mind's eye in sixth form, back in the day. And again, I'm not gonna call name, but boy, it was easy for you to have had crushes at the time,
You want to come to school?
Yeah, man, come on. That was amazing. So,
Well, let me ask you something though, because I know you're distracted by the girls because I seem to reach me too, but how do you feel about the campus in terms of, say, like, how it look like in terms of, just how the school set up and all them with it, where it was located and all that, how do you feel about that? If you can remember.
I mean, the fact that it was in a, what would I call, one of them, uptown neighborhood residential area, it's a stark contrast from where I was coming from, I went to Duane Park Primary, and by the time I got there, I encounter, other kids, some of which were coming from prep school. By the way, in them days, we laugh after people if you come from prep school.
Yeah.
It was a very sheltered, protected environment. The first farm block was what, from what I can recall at the time, it might have been newly built. That was a nice first farm block. I remember there, leading down to the home economics department.
That is a new building, yes.
Yeah, man. That was pristine. The only disappointment at the time was the fact that the football field was not a real size football field at the time.
Right. The
top field.
Yeah.
And you wasn't exposed to bottom field until later, where you understand that no, this is just top field, but bottom field, and we get encounter that. But facilities was good. I can't say I remember honestly the entire experience, but those were some of the things that I think came to mind at the time, And
when you come to school, Mr. Tarp was the principal the first year.
Yeah, well, I can't give a story about Mr. Tarp.
From first time, we can't get a story now, man.
No. So if you don't know me, my life at Meadowbrook have two halves.
Okay,
right?
okay. Go in there then, I'm going to talk about that liquor then. Since you're ready for talk about
And
it.
and there's what we call the bad half,
Yeah.
and then there's what became eventually the good half, which took me onto the trajectory that take me to where I am now. But that first half there, so I came into a first and encounter some man like Charles Robertson, bad boy Charlie Bob.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Encounter Michael Swaby, what we call Shrivel Up, bad
Shrivel
boy.
up. Yeah, man.
And me, Charlie Bob, and Swaby are the baddest man in the first song. You understand? A baddest man in the first song.
man.
Swaby never old brother from Meadowbrook at the time, though, yeah.
Yeah, man. But no, Swaby they done bad by himself. He never need no older brother.
He never need no brother at all. Yeah. Nah, man. Wait a minute, I hear him at all.
Wasn't
hello?
Knowing that Mr. Hello?
Yeah, Raymond, hold on. Nah, man, and Raymond, hold on. I'm losing for about a couple of minutes good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You missed the whole
yeah.
You missed the whole story.
Yeah. For start over back, Raymond, sorry. Start from the beginning when you talk about say, well, I remember which part, but let me edit this out and fix this. But my bless make I know that. Dante, you back?
Back online, yeah, man.
Yeah, because Dante did lose it because of power cut. Come here, I try to call. My system go down though. It never happened yet, but anyway.
No, I see you call.
You're right. I call me come here one if you not hear me.
That one is a mistake.
No, because me not hear and then all of a sudden my system just go blank. It come up back, and then all of a sudden me hear not talk, see me. So anyway, all right, the question with the ask. Okay, and just continue back, Raymond. Damn, man, sorry. Question with the ask, was, you take off from, say, Mr. Top. That's what the question I ask you. And I can't take it from this. If you didn't know Mr. Top, and you start talk about how you get introduced to Mr. Top. So start from this, because Dante never hear the question either. I ask you if Mr. Top was the principal when you come to school. Just take it from this now, man. Sorry.
Yeah, why, yeah. Anyway, just to say, we can't repeat the story the same way like I did before.
No, let's go about it. Dante never hear it. Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we were trouble students. We didn't give trouble.
I name the man in talk about. You call two man.
So one evening we were going on the bus heading home.
Hold on now, man. Which two man name talk? Trouble student. Name the friend name talk. We call two man names.
Yeah, man. Me, Charles Robertson, Michael Swaby. You understand? Raymond Gabbid. You understand? The whole man there. A portion that we dip on the bus and we are ring the bell. You know what a bell used to indicate, say, to the driver, say, you stop at the next bus stop and stuff. Have you ever stopped with us and ring the bell? And somehow, a prefect was in the bus and reported us. And the following day, we were just in class and we just hear the form teacher came and said, listen, for the following students, please report to the principal office. Norman Naar, Michael Swaby, Charles Robertson, etc. And I said, what is? Anyway, I know. March go on. Mr. Top was there. Man, greet me. Yeah, man, greet me and say, heard you all were on the bus laughing like hyenas. But I don't even know what hyenas was at the time. You understand? And anyway, just to cut a long story short, the man administered caning to each of it. So, we'd sit outside my office on the chair waiting. And the man said, okay, you, Charles Robertson, please come. And the man here, wait. You understand? Now, everybody have a story for everybody about what them hear taking place inside here. So we all have stories on each other. But last short time, we all got caning. But that was the first and only time.
So, hold on, that in the first term now, man, in the first term?
I think that would have been in probably the first term, because we had 3 terms. We have the Christmas term, then the Easter term, and then the summer term.
So you're well seasoned and I'm well ready for bad out and broke out, yes.
Yeah. And we very seasoned. And then, another time, I don't know if what I was saying before is that there was a rule, no throwing of stones. Anyway, at all.
Remember that.
And I remember me and Garfield, bloated at the time. Man, throw a stone off of me. It's a little pebble oil off. I take up and thing and me throw it off to him. And the two we not see where I go on. The only thing we see is two big dogs just run past it. I was say, right. So if anybody know Mr. Top, Mr. Top, dogs.
You see the dog before you see him, yes.
Dogs and precede him every time, man. Yeah, man.
And we just stand up frozen for a while and just without even turning back. We know what was happening. By the time we turn, Mr. Top does, having finger like, come here, boys, come here to me. Go to the office. So that was another caning,
Another caning.
Yeah, man, another caning. So I got caning twice. So yeah, so I know Mr. Top. Yeah, man.
I mean, you're well known to them, yes. I hear you. Yeah.
So Jelly.
Yeah, man, well known Top. I mean, yeah.
If I can add something, so you hear Norman talk about him and Charlie Bob them and the group, right, and Shubble up them. And I like him, I tell them, because everybody did fear the whole of them, May I tell you? I think you leave out Peter Lynch out of that group there. Or Peter came later.
Peter Lynch was. But no, the real core bad man, if I'm being honest, is me, Shrivel Up, and Charlie Bob. That was a real
Peter Lynch was Ed Lynch, brother.
No.
Different Lynch.
Different
Lynch. Okay.
Is Michael Lynch that? No, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a host of other guys. I think you have not Charles Robertson. You have not Oral Roberts. What thing there, Roberts? You have Courtney Johnson and you have Robert Johnson. Those were also part of that,
Part of that crew there.
Trouble, trouble thing. But I mean, the real bad man, I tell you, when time because we walk and bop, you understand? No man they ever say nothing. You understand?
No. Shublam said, give me a lunch money.
Yeah, man.
That's true, man. And I want to tell you too, when we used to play Interfarm, right? Because some of them man that we might talk about, all of them in the same class, man. So you can imagine playing Interfarm football against them, man. Up here, box and kick and pump. Up here, elbow.
No, Jelly, let me tell you something, they are bad man. To the point where I play football, and even man from my side afraid of me. I'm say, my ball! And Raymond Gavin take up the ball and carry it come out. I take up the ball and carry it come, give me in a jet. That's all.
That's a bomb.
No, yeah.
Raymond Gavin a bomb.
No, not Bob Campbell, no. Raymond.
Not Bob Campbell, man. A Bob we used to call him, I think.
About yeah.
I think so. I think you're right.
Raymond Gavin take up the ball and carry. That's how I'm to the You understand? I mean, I said, no, I saw a bad man. You understand? I mean, that's reflecting, that's thinking about it now,
Yeah, intimidate, man. You just say something and a man take up the ball and man and I can't come give you, right?
Yeah. If you shout my ball,
you think man I'll kick the ball to you, man. Understand what you're saying?
Man, take the ball and carry come give it. You understand? And so, but yeah, I mean, and then that that continued throughout, I remember there are a number of stories that underscore that bad boy kind of behavior. I remember I kicked Dwight Lawrence one time. I mean, Dwight Lawrence and me come from same primary school. And we were going to buy something from Pekka. And me and another person, I remember who it was, we were buy something from Pekka. And we must ask him for, beg your money for buy, we'll buy some festival from Pekka. And the man must have said something like, always a big money or something like that. Let's say we just kick up and blow. You understand? You understand?
Yo. Yeah. Nah, you bring back some memories to be, for real enough. I remember some games that we play against, I literally remember your box down at youth, But two of them are going to the ball in the jelly. And now I'm just step in front of the youth and just, just like, just push him down. Take the ball. Rough man, rough.
Yeah, no, but you know, still, some of them big ballers still, you know.
Yeah, man. Nah, I was a proper
Big baller.
baller.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
we
yeah,
just
yeah.
come.
Ballers,
Yeah, remember
Yeah.
you
big
that as a
ballers.
man you could have probably go for the Colts and the Manning Cup team. I remember that now, man. Yeah,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
No
Yeah,
man did play Colts
He play
Yeah,
Colts.
man.
under
We
13.
play
Yeah,
Colts, man.
play
Play
Colts
Colts,
under
man.
13.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Colts under 13. Go up Calabar and play all the match. Most now go have me, you know, have me forget all that story. I'll to this day I'm talk about that story. Maurice, man. And I'll go to Calabar. You know, them always. Right now, on the run white line for mark out the football field. Them days they are tired, the man them run.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
The
remember the game.
man of our store said no, Naar charge down for the man and the man comes and chop Naar from Calabar. I'm a slide for the grog. And there's
Remember
a
the
line
game
that
then?
come from the top of my
Remember
shoulder,
the
but
game
straight
then,
down my belly
man?
and for my shots, everything. You understand? Yeah, man,
Remember the game
That's
there?
right.
The game there was a rainy day. You remember that game
Ah,
there?
you
Yeah,
remember
man.
the game. Prior to
Remember the
rain,
game,
you
man.
remember it. You know, man, you
Remember
remember
the
the game.
game, man.
So
Better, man.
So
Better,
that was yeah. So that was, you know, but you know, no football and you know, I cricket as well. I did play cricket and Oliver people I remember said me used to play under 13 and we play course cricket. Me used to keep was
Wicket keeper.
wicket keeper. I mean they are bats. You understand? Yeah, man, they are batsman too. You understand? But you know, all of that from a sporting standpoint was early lived, and I guess there was some conscious decision that came at a point in time, you know, as we go through the school evolution.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that was largely, you know, the first farm days, and then you know, getting to second farm. Well, I mean, I don't know how you want to go this, you know, but
No, man. Let me ask you something though, because I'll get into that now, man. But because sometimes when a man come and does a talk, I make him talk. But let me ask you a question though. But that's why I know how it come to your mind, say you could be a bad man at Meadowbrook. All that getting ahead in the first time, decides say, boy, I got bad up the rest of man them.
No, I just all we were. I just, you know, we're just that way.
Yeah.
I mean, we come from primary school, we come from Dewey Park. I mean, it was the environment that I was in.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that was it. So it's not like to me, you know, it was
different than maybe if I do in the park then, a primary school.
Yeah, I just saw, you know, we're a bad boy, you know. I mean, we you know, I mean, we you know, go up in the hills there, down a bottom field. You know, I mean, I tell my son them now, you know, some things I used to go and, you know, go up there and smoke and thing. If principal ever did know, you understand? Them time then. You know, all them things that were going on with.
No man, so my thing them you can't.
But I was gonna add though, I think Norman, there's it's like you said, there's two sides to you, right? Because even in the midst of all of it,
right, yeah,
even in the midst of the bad boy thing, first, second, probably third farm, even, right? I remember you being part of the cadet drum corps and standing out when you guys had the parades and Mr. Gooden came out and, you know, dressed sharp and just the meticulous, you know, handles on the drums, right? And so that was almost like a diametric contrast to the bad boy image, right?
Yeah, so, but no, you're right, because I mean, you know, it wasn't in parallel. It wasn't in parallel. If I'm being honest, you know, it was a deliberate, you know, there was a turning point, an inflection point that you know, that I changed from that. And I mean, I was, you know, just like continuing a conversation around second form, where second form was really about the academics, because I didn't do so well in first form, you know, just, you know, never do well. But I want them people that were time the mailman that when they bring my report, I just time it, open the report, start change up some of the scores and thing, and you know, before my mother see it. And by the way, I have all of those reports. I have all of them to this day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show my kids them, you understand?
Yeah.
To teach them a lesson. But the second form, I really settled down and I became a good student, and I had a a teacher in the form of Paul Smith. Paul Smith was our science teacher, and really Irish teacher to this day. I say, Paul, you understand? I say, sir. The man said, stop that, Naar. Because me and the man look like peer now. What we never realize is that the man are never much older than we still, you know. You understand?
Yeah, you're
And
right.
so
You're right.
what we realize now is, you know, like literally I'm peer, you know, looking, see him like the man now.
5, 6
And
years older than you, not more than 10 years older
yeah,
than you now, man. Right,
yeah.
right, yeah.
And you know, them people was good influence on the second form, and you know, got exposed at that time, you know, through you hear the cadet beat. I wasn't part of the cadet drum corps at the time, but it was something where boy, I just did want to be part of, and every day in the classroom we used to just play drum on the desk. I remember we get lines. We get lines on account of playing drums in the class. And you know, remember that was the longest lines to get for right, you know, except for cheering
Which form you
associated the
join?
games. You must not
Which
indulge. Second form, all that took place. Towards the end of second form is where I started to train with Devon Panton to teach me
okay.
how to play drums.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
we joined the drum corps and thing. But yeah, no, I mean, that became the admiration, you know, for me. And then, as I say, me really did settle down and start do some good work in second form.
But
And I think about it. Go ahead.
no, let me ask you a question now, man, about that, because I want to zero in on that, because what do you think cause a transition there for you in terms of, say, you come a first farm, and it's like, was it the grade them intimidate you, or your mother talk to you, or you get inspired by Deban, or the teacher you call Paul Smith? What do you think, out of all of them, which one do you think contribute most to the fact that you decide to turn on your life?
I think it was there were a good set of teachers, I thought. And Paul Smith, as I said, was one of them. And we had a Mr. Nairn, you know, who had, you know, left some good influence in first form,
Yeah.
you know, which hung over into second form. I don't know, that's not performing well in first form is something that caused me to you know change. My mother never said that because she don't know my grades them because me color them out and put where me want to put, and you know she don't really know. She don't really know. It was a my
Oh,
doing kind of thing. I don't know. You know, it was I guess I don't know, being more conscious of girl and not just want to be bad man. It was the environment that you're in that facilitated that, but it also, as I say, something kick in, and I really wanted to do well. And I remember me I study history as an example. I remember specifically studying history and wanting to do very well on the exam and so on. And I think I came like, you know, second in one term, and I came 10th in one term, which was stark contrast from, you know, first form when we come way down at the bottom. And then I think by the time I ended second form, I came third in the class, and that which positioned me to go into 3M. And by the time we got into third form, them started to stream us now and put, you know, the bright people in one class and, you know, the rest in the rest, and so on. And the 3M was the bright class, and I went into that bright class, and you know, what I can tell you though, that was the breaking year, because that introduced a whole slew of other things, you know, inferiority complex, because you go in a class now, you know, them time the money people, you know, the guy them will wear glasses, you know, the people them will have money are them, and you end up in a class with the bright people them now, and it's almost like you were not from that tradition, you know, you were imposing into that
You
environment,
feel out of place.
and yeah, man, I feel out of place, and it dogged me in that, you know, me never the rich, and my mother, never buy all of the books and stuff, and that is when you get exposed to like about 16 subjects and you need one whole heap of book. Physics, chemistry, biology, the whole of the literature books, and all of that. And I can remember specifically, because I have the report and I show my kids it, where our literature teacher, Miss Nelson, wrote on a report, Norman has gone throughout the school term without purchasing one textbook. I remember it to this day.
I sure you
That
must say
specific
you
reason.
couldn't afford it at all.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a hit against me. She wasn't writing something against me.
You just say you survive without purchasing a book. Yes, I understand what I mean. Yeah.
No, survive. No, she was writing something that I thought was offensive for my mother to see it. You understand? So, with a trying, trying situation, for you to go write that, not only for the student seat, but for the parent seat, is a is an indictment on the parent.
Yeah, feel like an indictment.
But hold on,
if you will.
Yeah.
And remember that.
Hold on. What farm you were in at the time? Third farm?
Third farm.
So hold on. At that age, you were so conscious of that you want to protect your mother
so
much. Are you the oldest one?
Yeah, man. I'm the oldest one.
Okay.
And there's a reason why I never have the book. I don't have the money for buying a book. I used to sit down beside people and I looking at them literally about Miguel Street, my beside, and you have some people that was good. Heather Lynch, Gary Sims, cricketer Gary Sims was in that class at the time and stuff. And one or two other people, Sarah Blair, etc. But I mean, me couldn't. You can't have so much book. You can't buy so much book, brother. Me at the time, couldn't. Whenever they afford it.
No, man, understand man, because the expensive thing. It is
quick question now. You did pass it, Chucha?
In CXC? No, I never took it.
Third farm.
Didn't the teacher write the report? Didn't the teacher write the report?
No. I didn't well. It wasn't one of those subjects that I did well in. Because whatever I really like it too anyway. But because one whole heap of book, Great Expectation, the book them, Raymond. All of them book them.
Yeah, man. I understand. And I want to tell you now, man, I understand exactly what you're talking about. What you just communicated to everybody is the experience of a lot of the kids that come from the lower socioeconomic parts of the country. I know everybody will go Meadowbrook was rich. You know what I mean? So we have to kind of help each other. So me know say a man in my class never have the book, then we try to borrow from him or we got a library and we photocopy the page them or the chapter them, right? Or you read it and when you don't read it, you give it to me and me read it and give it back to you. And so that's how we used to do it back in the days because that resonates with me, Bridget. I understand exactly what you're saying. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
So the real positive thing about the third farm though, I mean, was the continuation. Got into the drum corps at the time with man like Andrew and them man in the drum corps, and just looking up to them man there and admiring them in the drum corps. I want to be like them and probably even be better than them in the drum corps, and but as I said, the whole inferiority complex to the point where people, some of the men I used to talk to from before, me not talk to them again, because so two things happen. Them, I said, boy, Norman turn society boy and stop talk to them.
You get
rich, understand?
You get rich and sweet.
Rich and sweet.
Remember that term there?
And then they are not even aware that I go through my own inferiority complex. To the point where them say, boy, I look like Naar turned Christian, One at a time, so hear about them say, no, look like Naar turned Christian. So this was, as I say, a stark contrast to the years before and, the persona that...
Hold on now, man. How you deal with that then? Because we're just going to ask you that, you bring up a good thing, How you deal with the fact, say, your farmer friends them, start pressure you a certain way. How you deal with that? It's a complex thing there.
Well, Yeah. It wasn't an easy thing. Because the most I could say is that in my mind, I was among the bright people. And, there's a reason why I'm among the bright people. You understand?
Because you can't do
And
it.
you
You can't
all,
do the work.
yeah, and you all not are. But yeah, it did feel a little way. Cause I don't know if you know from them days, anytime a man call you money man or society boy, you always try to play it down. It's not something that
Yeah.
we are very comfortable with. You understand?
Not comfortable with that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, the year passed, and I mean, as I said, I had my own issues whether or not it is my same bag when I carry from first farm, I still have in a third farm. Whether it is the same cougar paw me they have in a first farm, I still wear the cougar paw and the yield them lane. Whether it is that
You know, the truth, remember the name of the show, Sir.
yeah man.
Remember the cougar
Yeah,
paw them on and the
Cougar
straight foot pants there, yeah. A bow leg.
yeah,
and
yeah,
ballet, right?
yeah. And
Ballet.
whether it is, you have to come home, go home and wash your pants, then to come back next day and all them things,
You see it exactly.
and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
But what one of the things that was clear at the time also is that is when me kind of leave the sporting arena. Cause them man will tell you some of them man will tell you say if now they continue to play football still from them time then. You understand?
Yeah.
Me a big baller. I mean,
you're not upon the
Achoo.
there. Yeah. But kind of feel that way because somebody say it, right.
Come on,
I'm
you're a big baller.
going to interject since now I'm talking about ball game now, right? So now, man, I don't know if you remember this. You used to have a youth on your team in a second farm. I think he was in first farm with you as well, named Courtney Johnson. Remember Courtney?
Yes, man.
All right. Yeah, Courtney used to play center forward with you, right? You remember that, right?
Yes, man.
Like a short brownie.
Yes, man.
So,
yes, man.
Now, man, is correct with him saying a big baller. And Courtney did feel the same was a big baller too. But Courtney wasn't as big a baller as Norman. So we have played him in an interfarm up a top field. And then I kick up the hill towards the industrial arts building, the TD building, right? Yeah. And Courtney break away. Him alone for score for my goal, I'm going to run him down and take the ball off and put. And them lose the game. You don't remember that game, Norman?
Yeah, no, brother.
Would they lose the game 1-0? Would they lose the game 1-0? Let me tell you, the whole school come out to watch that game there,
Yo,
Raymond. Field surrounded, man. And after the game, Courtney come to me and say, boy, I can't never see you, but it's see you. I see it.
You remember well, Raymond. You remember well. I if you never say all of this, it wouldn't come back to me at all. But I remember vividly now,
you guys are an amazing team.
Yeah, man. Thanks to remember that. But I remember me at the pan top field, and me a jib it through, and me a cut and I got through, and the whole top field are real, You understand? Yeah, man.
That's true, man. True thing.
So, because I mean, all down at Duane Park. I mean, me they go out and I train for minor league and all them thing there with. I don't know if you remember Big Head and some of them man there.
Andrew Sinclair.
Them man there. But a year there, them end up, them had polio and the polio breakout thing, and that them scrap minor league a year there.
82, I think
that was. Yeah. So anyway, those emerging from the third farm. Let us tell you this: one of the things that I recognize early in sports is not like today. Back in those days, me used to see the guys who are manning cup and thing. Enough of them repeat. And it did not, in my mind, represent what I wanted to be a part of. It seem like, the bright guy them end up playing Manning Cup and stuff. You understand? And so it was a trajectory that me decided that me never did really want to go on. But all this never just happened just like that. There was a particular, moving from third farm into fourth farm. Boy, that was a mind a life changing experience for me. And if you could have indulged me a little bit, because I had such inferiority complex, and I just never did well in third farm. By the time I was going to fourth farm, them assign me the day when I'm supposed to start school, the day before that, when I'm to go in fourth farm, them assign people now to which class them going to. So, whether it is science, this, bright, kind of thing. And the man them all put me down into 4J. I'm saying on the mad no blow.
Yes, because
And
that have a stigma attached to that now, man.
that have
Example,
a
I say.
stigma.
Yeah,
That
man.
a stigma.
Yeah, man. But I've been
And
joking until master and them there, J, they have a Fort Jamal.
yes, man. Yes, man.
Yeah.
And I remember, so that was the day before the registration day. And then the following day we start school now. Because I think Miss Headlam, is that not Miss Headlam, either Miss Morris or Miss McLennan. I think it's Miss Morris. They tell me, say, a 4J I'm supposed to go and thing. And I come fourth farm the morning there, and I go straight up a 4M. And the farm teacher was Miss Jones. And I say, yes, Miss Jones, my name is Norman Naar, and I'm supposed to be in this class. And Miss Jones write down my name at the bottom of the register. Let me tell you something, Jelly. You see that alone, me say, you see, because of the lie that me tell, me I go make sure the lie they turn true. And from day one, a beer book me a beat. And that's when me encounter back Raymond Robinson, Dave Fearman, and some other bright people. And I saw it said, first, second, third, geography test, and I saw it said, me tell the man, me up there, tell me I say, if them even catch up on me, they must realize, say, boy,
a mistake they make.
The mistake they make, but I mean, he's performing very well. So why we're going to change it now? And I tell you, that trajectory is what take me to where I'm at today. You understand?
But may I ask you something? Stick up in the name. May I ask you something? Where you get the audacity from as a fourth farmer for decide to just go to the teacher and tell her, say, you're not a classroom. I say they're just so terrified of the fact they just don't want to be stigmatized for being a 4J. That you just decide, whatever it takes.
Yeah, man. That was a fear. That was a fear.
Yeah.
That was a fear. Overcoming. So yeah, second farm you did with, third farm, you had your complex and so on. But this was my life, and this is what me want to do. You understand? I'm not going down there, so you understand? And I went into the thing. And by the way, I'll tell you another story later on by the time I reach the farm. This has been a recurring theme in throughout my life, in terms of some other experiences similar. Just taking the opportunity, and I'll tell you by the time
take the initiative. Yeah, take the initiative. So, Jelly, I just want to interject and ask Norman something, because it's funny, because as long as I have known him, hearing him say that he had an inferiority complex blows my mind, because I always saw you, Norman, as supremely confident.
Yeah. You're right, Raymond, because somebody with an inferiority complex now go to the teacher and tell them, say, I say belong.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That is a degree of confidence that most people don't have, and they wouldn't take that leap to say, all right, you know what? Them tell me this, but that don't mean I'm gonna do this.
Right?
Yeah. I think what happened though is that is the way him deal with it. So maybe that's how it was. That's the way he was thinking in his mind, that there's that little inferiority. But I probably he dealt with it well, because I mean I was in cadet, I was in jump corps as well with Norman. And truth be told, I could never believe that Naar had any inferiority complex. One of the greatest jump majors you can ever see.
May I tell you?
Man, when I leave the jump corps, in fact, when I joined the cadet first, I wasn't in jump corps. Is observing Naar and Andrew, as him say, and I mean China before them, Naar, Andrew, what name? My Zico, greatest
Clive,
side jumpers, Clive Ince, yeah. Some of the greatest side jumpers them you can find anywhere at all, man. When the man play on a match, it's a joy. So that was where I got some of my inspiration, yeah, man.
One of the things I'll say to with Norman is, again, in terms of confidence, I mean, know a lot of people probably don't know this, but, you play ball with a man where, and every center forward, you can get them the ball with them back to the goal.
Yeah.
Enough man nerming us, right? Them nerming us, you get them the ball with the back to the goal. Now, man, you give him the ball, one man upon him, two man upon him, and nothing, and push them off and gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just, to me, it's interesting the psychology that he's kind of sharing with us about a young man coming into age and understanding his limitations, but actually wanting more for himself and making decisions like that. That's amazing, man.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm comment on that now, man. Because I want to ask you a question about that, At your age, because you talk about fourth farm, maybe 14, 15, 16, maybe, right? And you are going to decide, say, you never go to your parents, your mother, as you say, and go tell them.
Yeah.
You think your youth, them will take it on the way and just decide, say, something happened at school and like, they might come to you. That's what I'm saying. Where you get that from in terms of saying your mind? And you say I do it because of the fact they feel inferior, But you take on the bull by the hand and me never have no doubt with attitude like that you'd have been successful, If you look and that's why I can relate to stories, where things are going your way. I said, no, I'm not take this, I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah, and I don't mean that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm going to find a way around this.
Exactly.
That is a winning attitude, my brother. But go ahead, you continue.
Yeah. So I mean, so I took that decision, and as I said, the fear of it catching up with me, I just me compete with the best at the time, and that is where you talk about, you just follow where the right people them a do, just follow where them a do. You understand? And so, from all fourth farm, me see every man where a maths brains say them all do add maths. Yeah, me I do add maths too, and I saw me encounter Sean Cunningham and Andrea Powell and in a maths class and with Mr. McGregor. And maths became, from an academic standpoint, it became a superpower for me because, when people come ask you for work maths problem, so whether or not you're rich or poor, if me know this and you come ask me for work maths problem, yeah. And so me and Dave fear, man. You understand? Because we come from
Dave.
me and Dave, we work maths regular. You understand? We test McGregor, etc. So that was our academic strand where, just did it kick off and take a next trajectory in a fourth farm. And the youth that Dave Fearman is one of the single greatest impact and change, that has had on my life. So making the decision to go.
You went on to become head boy now, man.
Yeah, man, head boy, and he's thing the scholar, Commonwealth scholar, and so on, and you must get him.
Pierman you attack?
No, man.
Dave Fearman.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. Sorry.
Dave yeah, man. Dave.
I'll share something about Dave too, since we're on the topic, and Dave is not here to talk for himself, but Norman is speaking abundantly in truth, right? Because I remember Dave in many instances, because I know Dave Bright, I know Norman Bright, I know Sarah Bright, and it push you. And if you have a question, you're quick to go to them and say, yo, what do you think about this? This is what me thinking. What do you think about this? And iron sharp iron. And that group that came up through 4th, 5th farm, some of them went on to 6th farm, some left the school. just amazing, man, in terms of the academic success that group had. I think at Meadowbrook.
Let me say this.
I'll tell you something you say.
Yeah.
Because I encountered both Naar and Dave because I was a heart trainee at IBM. As me leave school and go straight go work at IBM as a heart trainee before I start work with them temporarily. And then while I was there, I think both Naar and Dave came there while they were going to UA as for a holiday job. That's correct, Naar? Or you came there
correct.
after? Yeah. So me being there and say, my Meadowbrook brethren them come in. I think Garfield ended up working there as well. Bloaty. Yeah, man. So encountering them guys, cause them times the IBM a big thing,
Yeah.
And for say them man they come in from UA, that was a part of my inspiration too, Because in my days when me there, I say, I want to be like them man here. Them I go UA, them I come work at IBM, them a top man in the industry, That was a big thing for me. And for know so them man, they are Meadowbrook man. That was But, I can tell you. I can tell you now. So that was apart from the inspiration in school as drum major, that was inspiring for me as well. I can tell you that now.
Yeah,
man. Let me say something about this now, man, because just I listen to you, I realize something, You say if you put that way, You say if you would take on, if you did feel, say, and this is a mindset, if you did feel, say, you could have both sports and the academics, and you can, Meadowbrook would have been forever better in terms of the sport. You say if you carry the skill where you have as a footballer, and the money I talk about, with the mentality where you put in the classroom, on the sport field, and the leadership where they provide, enough more football trophy would have win. I'm put it that way.
Yeah, man.
I agree with that. And I'm actually disappointed to Norman never play. Never play money. I understand why though.
No, I understand. I'm not gonna ask me a question. You just never feel take on the boat now, man. I really just want to focus so much on the academics.
No, I didn't want to do the sport because the man them were doing that. Me never did like the trajectory that them go on. Man, I'm repeat fifth farm and things. So it's like I say no, Dread. Or the man they down in a 4J or 5J kind of thing. No, me they get in my mind, in the elite group, maths, physics, them thing there. And the academics and them days, as I say, it never there blend the two so well. One or two people who did both, and stuff. Like Donald Dixon, I thought he did both.
Ferdinand Bent was the next one.
Right, Ferdinand Bent.
But even then, when the man reached sixth farm, them never. I think they've even further to give up cricket in a sixth farm, and football. Maybe if cricket, them never played last year. So, man,
yes, maybe I talk about
I think him did play football.
They play football, they play money cup, but him did give up the cricket because the year when we reached year 2 the first year I captain the team, him never play on the team at all because just to see him the trajectory in terms of say maybe I look on it that way there, which is a pity. I can't tell you that. I say that only from now, say. And I just the mindset one have. If I said you respect due to it, you decide say what, that's the trajectory you want to take. I take a different one. I don't want a boat. I'm a try boat. And it work out a little. Me never dedicated to the academics like you are dedicated to it now, man. I can't tell you that. You follow me? I said to you, if me dedicated to me, my life would have different. But maybe I like sports a little more. I just love the spirit of the sports is more. So maybe. I don't know. There's no easy answer for it. There's no easy answer.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. You don't know.
But now you played table tennis in Meadowbrook too, didn't you? At one point, or no?
Yeah, man. I mean, me want to come to that. Come on. I mean, I want to do a little due respect to the cadet thing, but me complete that trajectory
go
into
ahead,
from
man.
fourth
You go
farm,
flow, see like
that fourth farm into fifth farm. But that's coming now. So in parallel with that now, though, I mean, the drum corps was just, I mean, so there is in the U.S. Army, you have the Army and they have the Air Force. In cadet, you have the cadet infantry and they have the drum corps.
Mm-hmm.
The drum corps was like the Air Force of the cadet. And it was elitist, it was pristine, it was, I mean, you call the names of the guys, them. I mean, there was a certain level of pride you take in, just being part of the drum corps. I mean, it was, never mind the discipline, because we think we had a superior level of discipline to normal infantryman because, of we carry the parade, we lead the parade out front, and the infantry follow us behind. And I saw the cadet, and I want, if there are other people listening to this and stuff, the cadet represent an opportunity for us to get into become pilots and all these other things.
Okay, elite,
and
elite,
I
elite
had,
tradition. And
man, I had the example of Vivian Thomas and Devon Panton, who sit down and teach me how to play side drum, right? And both of those guys were doing ear proficiency. They were flying Gillette Kilo down at Tinsapen, you understand? And doing ear proficiency through the cadet force. What could be, a better opportunity than for, have that channel through which you can get, to the top ranks, from a career standpoint. And I saw that day one, I'm going to say, cadet, it is for me, and the drum corps it is. And, whether it was, Chana was our drum major at this time, at the time. And Chana was, was an excellent character at the time, militant. I love him. And, the entire corps that we have, I mean, if I list the names on the character, them just leave an indelible mark on you. Sean Cunningham as bass, we used to take all the jokes and, harassment. Sean Blair on side drums, Peter Jacobs, Andrew Earl, Wayne Clark, you understand? As part of the side drum crew. Round on the back, the Mikey Carr, Roden, original Floods. I don't remember Floods' right name.
Kevin,
you understand?
Floods.
Blow the bugle.
Floods.
Kevin, something
you
like that.
understand?
Kevin, you know we are talking.
And the evolution of that group that then saw me.
Floods, man. I not even remember Floods just that.
Man. The evolution that saw me ultimately becoming drum major and so on. And then have Tegre and all the others that came in, not just being a drum major for Meadowbrook High Cadet Corps, but, what we call the battalion, which was a combination of Meadowbrook JC Arden, and who else? Meadowbrook JC Arden. Calabar. I don't remember, but it was a combination of schools. Right. The combination drum major and so on.
Woolmaz was in it.
Woolmaz was part, because you have Samuels from Woolmaz, and so on. And them time, you get into our next set of man. So Clive Ians and Tegre and that crew was part of the drum corps at the time.
And them man.
Herbie, remember Herbie? Yeah, man. So we had a splendid time, from a drum corps career. But what the cadet did for me, when me used to sit down and watch Angel play drum and thing, and Angel kind of cool and the girl them love him and thing. I'm a member. Yeah, man, I'm a member. You understand? And me get onto the drums one day. And I saw him flash him sticks, and me flash my sticks, and me tell her, me look more militant than a brother.
Yeah,
you understand?
And
man, me match him stride for stride. You understand? And I remember that year when we had the parade, and I end up getting an award, the Clive Levy Award for best drummer, presented to me by, it was Brigadier Niche at the time.
Yeah.
Brigadier went to Major General, and yeah, that was a swell recognition. And then, a year after that, I came drum major, and I remember, boy, them girl they make me feel good. Cause a certain time I come out, and the girl them see my bow leg, I start the drum. I say, I'm here screaming. I say,
now, man, you don't need to play no football. Forget the girls them.
I say, brother, I mean, I don't know if them love nothing else, but I mean, just that alone, them does it, onto that. But I talk about this cadet career because in fifth form, I wanted to do the flying, to get under the flying like Pantan and Vivian and them guys. And well, first of all, you had to have 5 subjects, and so clearly you would have to be in sixth form. You had to be, a sergeant in the, and I think I was a corporal at the time. And I somehow, I had Clive Levy, who was our adult sergeant major, which is like a parent. He was like a mentor, from JDF for.
Hold on there now, man. You call him name a couple of times. You used to come there, bro? Clive Levy?
Yeah, man. Clive used to come. I think Clive used to come there.
Yeah, man. Evil, call him Evil. Him come from Camper though. Evil. Yeah, man. I'm a virgin that, man.
Where I see him eyebrow there, so. Yeah, man. Evil.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Evil we used to call him, man. Him come from Camper and come on Meadowbrook. I think, but repeat fifth farm Meadowbrook. Much part of the cadet too. Active part of the cadet, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's how I'm the same person we are. I'm a virgin that too.
Yes, man. Yeah, man. And Clive, he was a mentor for me. And he'll tell you that he was my father. You understand? Because he plays some other father. But, and any kudos to me, he would tell you, say, it's all due to him. And I owe it to him as well. Because, I mean, the man really look out for me. But anyway, the man, kind of write a letter, so that it go up to JDF. And JDF invite people from all schools across the Jamaica to come and do the aptitude test to get into the flying program.
School, yeah.
Which is air proficiency through the cadet. And brother, I went there and I was nervous as hell. To this day, I remember it. And pure foolishness, pure foolishness. And just to cut a long story short, a couple, weeks, probably months or so had passed. And, you're waiting to hear from them to start air proficiency down at Kingston. I remember one time, Michael Edlam, I say Edlam one day, it was like Thursday, I say Edlam. No, it was, the Thursday, I say Edlam. And Edlam said, Naar, you hear from them guys at JDF yet? For go down to Kingston? I say, no. And I'm say, yeah, man, them get through, for go down to Kingston. Some Monday them supposed to start up. Some say, And I said, whoa. You don't understand wanting to be a pilot, what it meant to me.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those academics was part of my need to become a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I go home in the evening, I'm sit down and think about it. And the following day, I come, I'm say Edlam, I'm say, yo, Edlam, so I get the letter yesterday though. Man say, oh, you get your letter? I say, yeah, man, I get the letter. Party, I don't get no letter. I get no letter. The Monday, I say, I turn up at Kingston. I'm a turn up at Kingston. By the way, me in a fifth farm,
Mm-hmm.
And me no sit CXC and GC and them thing there yet, You understand? You're supposed to have 5 subjects already,
Mm-hmm.
At a minimum for thing. You see, by the time you reach and line up and go at Kingston, when I reach, I say, every man in a white shirt, Me are the only man have a khaki shirt,
It's a 6 farm of them.
Them are 6 farm. Them have them subjects already.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And me a 5th farmer. And me not have no subject because I don't take the exam yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit down, I'm come, I remember Royal Brown, have us sit down inside there and welcome everybody, about 20 of us, and say you are the elites, you got selected. About 15 of us across all the island, schools across the island, you're all selected from that group. And so I want to welcome you and stuff, and the man right down the whole of it. Just pass a piece of paper around every man write them name on it. Same thing.
Same thing like when
The
you
fear,
move from 4G to 4M.
yeah. You see,
You just show up.
the fear that it'll catch up with me. I tell you have a youth named Biari, you have a youth named Romes. Biari and Romes from Woolmers. The man are bright like bulb. And me, Biari, Romes. First, second, third. So we alternated every single solitary test. You understand? Mash up ground school. You understand? Start flying. Mash up. When I tell us a mash up civil aviation exam. Them exam the ones he used to pass the exam there, which was 70 as a pass mark, them automatically give a scholarship for, just pursue your private license flying, which is what Pantan got and what Vivian Thomas had gotten. You understand? And boy, my year, when I say 70, back in the day, I like a 2-3 man pass, In my year, 13 I will pass. Me get 90, 95. I tell us I come fifth. And the difference between, different people is like point whatever. So there's a civil aviation exams that we pass. I get 95. And, at the time, them say, well, them have 5 scholarships, so I'm going to get the top 5 students. I'm going to say, cool, fine. And anyway, it turned out that say I got the time, said, no, only 3 scholarships. Reduce the scholarships, only 3 available. Got that year, they must have the plateau and, that plateau thing at JDF where, anyway, it's a long time they haven't done it. But anyway, so them cut it down to 3 and them so rather just give the top 3 them interview us all. So them interview all 15 of us, all 13 of us. And the guy who came first got 1, the guy who came 8 got another, and the guy who came 12. That's it. They got the scholarship. And what they offered the rest of us was half scholarship. And at the time in 1983, half scholarship was 13,000 700. I'm tell my mother, and she say 13,700 kick, couldn't forget that from. So
payment on a house that.
Yeah, and so what started in 1983, by the time we get to it was 1984, 85, and it was about time to go UE anyway, which, I ended up going UE, did computer science and, that trajectory. But I just wanted to talk about the cadet and what it can do for you though. But the fact though that I had air proficiency as a drum major now, when me come out, nobody not have the amount of fandangles that me have for me, because each one of those fandangles had a particular meaning, and I had a different color beret. My hat headgear was light blue. Everybody else was blue because I had ear proficiency, and I had wings, on my uniform and so on. But I'm just saying it was, it's something that was good, and I think if they're still having it, is good for the cadet force and an opportunity for people to take on a career using the cadet force as a trajectory to take them to that level. So, yeah.
But we put that in a context here, because Tegreg say a deposit per house is not a deposit, Tegreg. It could be a house money. When my old man, we'd have a house at Winnie Park, his sister did dead and leave it for him. And old man sell a house in 1982 when I left school. That's about end up with the first bus, the 30 grand, 10 Wallace Avenue. Now man might know
30 grand.
Yeah, 30 grand. So now man, 13 grand is almost half of the price of a house. You follow me? I put in context.
At the time, yeah.
A whole heap of money, man. A whole heap of money.
So Jelly, can I ask Norman a question? So Norman, like, given all of this success, because that I didn't even know the story that you just conveyed. That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
And congratulations for all of that. What did that do for your confidence? So, because we were talking earlier about your confidence, and I just think it's important. I don't know who else is going to be listening to this podcast. Maybe some of the students coming up in the school, and maybe some of them have the same challenges with self-confidence. So what did that experience do for your confidence, given what you had shared earlier in the conversation?
Yeah, I think what it did was showing that, and I don't mean, people, what I don't want people to see this as being deceptive, because there could be that message that people can take from it, that one is being deceptive. But what I'm saying is, you seeing an opportunity and you're taking an opportunity. Better than that, you take an opportunity. And sometimes fear can become a good driver for some things. We talk about fear sometimes as if, it's wrong to be fearful. But fearful is a useful energy that, if properly harnessed, it can propel you into directions. You understand? I mean, if me I go out and me I give a speech and so on, yes, you want to be relaxed and so on, but there is a level of fear of failure that forces you to prepare yourself in a way that you feel confident and strong to go out and present. And when you deliver well, everybody think that is all that great, but they don't know those energies that are driving you. And for anybody, as I say, who listening to this, for me, it is a decision. It's something that it drives you, and it drove me. And as I say, it became a recurrent theme in my life, because I mean, I have at least one or two more stories, in a similar vein. But that was post school kind of setup.
Yeah, but,
but I won't go there.
It's a powerful story now, man. A very powerful story, because what you really
man.
fear are the biggest motivator for most people. A very few people look upon something as an opportunity and just do it out. I say them want to do it, but you were motivated by fear and you take the fear. But let me ask you something though. The two story really. You never get caught at Meadowbrook for no say. Them never realize say you're not within a 4M, and them never catch up on you at the down at Kingston. That never cross your mind at all. Say if the marks, nothing. That never cross your mind at all. What would I do with that?
Yeah, well, I thought that when they were going to do the interview, I said, this is where them all catch up with me now. This is probably where them all catch up with me. But the interview was fine. Pretty much I'm just trying to ascertain how hungry you were, and pretty much, your social standings, financial standing kind of thing, and your family background, to decide who them going to select. And it would be hard for them not to have given the person who came first. But beyond that, because I lay such a strong foundation through the period of the year, while I was doing the session, consistently performing and showing results at the highest level. I mean, I was convinced that if they were to catch up, then when I say, good God, man, look upon the score the man I get, man.
Exactly.
You understand? Yeah. What will I do? Him not come less than first, second, or third. Him, every single one of these things. So it was my way of ensuring that I delivered on the opportunity.
You take the opportunity now, waste that all. And you say you better ask for forgiveness more than permission.
Yeah.
You take the opportunity with both hands and say, you can't do it, and you have the confidence to do it, but make you just go and see him. I love that. I love that mentality there. This is a powerful story, man. I tell you, it's like, as I say, Raymond, when the people hear this, and when the man hear this, and anybody who hear this story should be motivated, and I say, you just have to take the opportunity sometime.
Yeah, man. Calculated risk. It's funny because it's just like Norman was saying, we kind of think about situations in my life the same way, risk versus reward, right? Like, what's the worst that can happen? What's the best that can happen? Right? And then just take that step. So I think that's the message to everybody is take risks, man. And if you succeed, the outcome is always great for you at that point, right?
Take calculated risk.
Take calculated risk. Yeah, man.
That is.
But
go ahead.
But they I mean, as I say, having taken even from a class standpoint, you when you take the risk, though, you have to live up to the
man, you have to take on the work,
you have to take it on, I mean, we never stop. And me and Dave certainly became a little formidable team. Just bouncing off each other. Especially around math. And that trajectory took us into. I remember one time fifth form, Mr. McGregor across the whole class, and the man said, "I don't see why Norman Naar and Dave Fear, man, can get over 80, and everybody else I get 40 and below." I said, well, the man load up the things for Rasta. Them time, everybody in the class I look for and say, yo, them little nerd brother there now.
Bright sparks them there.
No, it never feel good. It never feel good. I tell you, you don't want to man load you up the way.
No.
You want to go through quietly and McGregor load up the thing. But we were, we used to spar with McGregor, and a difficult problem with challenge him challenge me and stuff, and it continued. I mean, we did maths, A-level maths in a 6B and then further maths in a 6A, and the rest is rest in terms of the academics.
Them not mean feet at all now, man. We can't.
No.
Yeah, go ahead, Raymond.
I was saying he and Dave were two unique persons, man, because he's right. There weren't too many of us in that class that could have keep up with them when it came to the mathematics, and they might do add maths and all kind of things. Man, well, I don't know the add maths. You might.
Yeah, right. Me take on that and I left that alone. Me just. But let me ask you something now, man. Were you always aware of the intellectual ability where you have? Because you take on some rarity thing there. You say it's like you feel say you can't do it. You never have no doubt about your intellectual ability.
I'll tell you this about me. If I'm being honest with you, you have man with bright. We buck up some man like that throughout my life. We're bright. I wouldn't necessarily call myself bright. I was just one of them people that work hard.
If you put the work in, you can do it. Right.
Yeah, man. I was one of those people who. So I would spend, me used to study enough. And me used to, even after, end up on campus, and the man have a unit of study, them say a unit of NAR. If you do one NAR, it's like a portion that they study that. You can't do one NAR. You have to do microns of NAR, and so, we joke around all that. But yeah, no, I was one of them, I have to study. I have to study.
No, man, I say, man. We have to say once you put in the work, you can do it. That's exactly right. And that's the work it I got to take. And that's the life going on. Once you put in the work and effort, and just consistent improvement, and that's the success about it. It's a consistent improvement. Come without the work. Some people are just saying, nah, man, naturally gifted. They can just look on it and do it. But that's the way I put in the work and effort. And to work better for you. Because you appreciate it more. You appreciate the success more because you work for it. That is a powerful story you give us. I can't tell that. I didn't know say your story was so powerful at all. That you. So much brother and sister that. Them younger than you?
I have two sisters. They're younger than me. One she went Merrill Grove and then came on the sixth form at Meadowbrook. The other one, she started Meadowbrook, first, second form, but then she migrated and stuff. So
Okay.
yeah.
But them have the other inspiration because you have them bigger brother, them nobody better than you at all. Inspired.
Yeah,
man.
Man. I tell you now,
man. Absolutely.
Without a doubt. But let me ask some question now, man, because this is one of these I interview them because you come and just flow. And I said, Tegra, even though the man I say nothing to talk about, and 90 minutes today I talk, and now, man, my name is that. But then ask a question that you know, Dante, from the first one.
And in memory not as bad as you would have led us to believe.
Right, selective memory. I'm going to say, one question
selective memory.
Oh, look at man. Did you choose Meadowbrook? And man, they talk for 90 minutes. I'm going to say, okay, make him go and talk.
Yeah.
Love that now, man. Trust me. The only person to come and do this at I when Billy to come all the time, and I see him when Billy does float the same way. But
yeah. No, I think and that's why, I started the way I started, because as I said, there are two experiences that I had at
There
Meadowbrook.
are two
There
Normans
were
there.
two
Two
Normans. There were
yeah,
two
yeah, yeah,
Normans.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And so that was it. So it was really just seeing the contrast, and then where it take us, you
No, man,
understand?
I love that Florida, man. I love that Florida now, man.
Yeah,
But me ask you some
yeah.
question. What some of the students that you remember when you come in at Meadowbrook? Now the first term, the first year. The first set of Norman then, the first Norman. What some of the friends you remember when you just come at Meadowbrook?
So me tell you now, Cheryl Pizer, Delrose Quayler, Naomi True, Tracy Mirage, Oral Roberts, of course the bad boys, me, Charles Robertson, Michael Swaby, I'm a next bona fide virgin who my name Bloaty, Garfield Campbell. So me, him and Dave to this day, we're bona fide, Garfield Campbell. Those are some of the, and on the girls' side, I didn't name Marcia Days, Article, Dan Buckley, Article. You understand? Those are some of my key pals. You ever think about you could have sistering and not necessarily a look, or them a look, with us sistering.
Of good friends.
And I think what I learned at Meadowbrook, I'm gonna tell you to this day, is you learn how to coexist with females, not as an object for, any kind of relationship, but no desire.
Right.
You can genuinely have sistering, and throughout my own lifetime, I continue. Always have some sistering. In fact, I'm more a sistering people than me have virgin them still.
Yeah.
But I'm just able to,
you're not a
flow.
problem of woman friend around you and you just work with them.
No.
And I think,
yeah, man, and I think I learned that and honored that from Meadowbrook. And you also learn how some women think, because I used to par with some sister and I hear them say one things, and then them do a different thing, you understand? Them say, that guy is so disgusting, and I say, and then two,
you see
they don't have to say.
You know, I
say, but this is a paradox, you understand?
Yeah. That a woman all over them cost man.
Yeah, man. So when me learn,
yes.
Yeah, man. When me learn, them love bad boy, and then sometimes me end up just being a sister and friend.
Yeah.
What me don't like is when time I really like a girl and she thinks that us, me a sister. Very.
You have to go back to Norman.
So, no. Yeah, no. But girls like guys who have edge, a little edge, otherwise I'm considered too nice and you're boring. And I saw it right throughout school, being good friends. I did say Delrose Quayler, back in first form, and so yeah, no, those are some of the people. I'm gonna really want to call some other man name because I can't remember them proper name. I just pure nickname are coming on me.
Call them out same way. They will know. Call them out now, man. If I just nickname, remember. What I'm telling you.
Okay, you see a lippy. You understand? What I'm telling about lippy. I was lippy the other day. I have to concentrate hard. You understand? Because somebody that, with people and me have to, try to remember, say, no, that's not my name.
You can't call him the name there, yeah.
No, you can't call him a name there. And but yeah, no, those are, and, bloaty, and me the name enough, man, shrivel up and thing, because, as I said, my community, where we grew up, man no call people by them, like normal name. Everybody have a nickname. I'm used to yeah. Fortunate for me, throughout high school, people think Naar is a nickname.
Because it's unique.
Yeah, to this day.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are some of the people.
Same thing reach me to, because people think a prince is a nickname or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which one I
Hey,
teach?
Nar,
Yeah, go ahead, Raymond. Sorry.
sorry, I want to ask that question. So, was Andrew Wellington in your class in first form?
No.
No, it wasn't, right? Because I remember he left first farm. I went to Calabar, but I was wondering if he was part of your group.
No.
And
No.
Andrew Elliott wasn't part of your group either, right?
No.
Your class.
Andrew Elliott was in 1M.
1M. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were on morning
Um,
or evening shift now, man.
we came in on morning shift, so yeah, we were the superior group. Yeah.
Hey, what this up?
You want to throw shade at that Norman. Yeah.
Raymond, it was
What
an
chose
evening
good?
shift, man. No, it was an
Yeah,
evening
man,
shift,
yeah,
man.
man.
Raymond. Yeah,
No,
remember, man.
yeah.
You and
Now
Dave and some other man.
Philip
Maurice.
Reed, and Curtis
Ah,
Campbell, and yeah, man, Mickey
well,
Martin, and
man.
them on the yeah, man, well, man,
Yeah,
So which
Alan
yeah,
Blackwood, yeah,
yeah, Alan Blackwood
yeah.
part of Unier too. Yeah.
yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah,
So
man.
which teacher them you remember now? Which one teacher you remember?
First definitely Miss Anirn, Miss Nevins, and my Spanish teacher. Me I love her, Miss Williams, but us could manage Spanish, you understand?
Yeah.
But I tell you, she have a dialogue the way she make we study. And I mean, to this day, anytime I talk to people about Spanish, me can say the dialogue there from start to finish.
You
And
remember?
the dialogue is between two persons. So me I say what each person I say in the dialogue, I mean I take fluent Spanish, and I remember Raymond Gavin in a Spanish class. Like when sun in your eye and you put your hand up to your thing there for
Yeah, for cover
cover the
the
sun from your
screen.
eye.
Yeah.
She asked everybody for study. Yeah, for cover, screen off the sun. She asked everybody for study the dialogue and come in and remember Raymond Gavin have a man up and I said the dialogue and she said, move your hand from there and the man stop. And she said, continue and the man put up back a man. So the man write the dialogue in a man and I read the dialogue. Instead of man study the dialogue. Well, read the dialogue. But yeah. So that was first form. In second form, definitely Mr. Smith, Paul Smith, one of the standout.
And when teach,
Um,
what did he teach now, man?
science,
Okay, yeah. Okay,
sciences,
continue, yeah.
general sciences. Miss Bromwell at the time, biology. I mean, she was a
It's Baba.
standout.
Yeah, what's the
Yeah,
man
Miss
named
Barber.
and then
We
Marnie, Mrs.
eventually
Bramwell.
became Bromley.
Yeah.
That was Barber. I mean,
Bram.
she stand out, and I'll just say full stop.
Yes.
Stand out. All right. um,
No, we have to come forward
um,
on that. Full stop now, man. Exactly.
full stop. Full stop. When I
Same.
got into third form, what was it? I don't remember. The love of my life teacher in third form. If I'm really being honest, I can't. Nobody's coming to mind right now. Once I got into fourth form, Miss Jones was one of my favorite teacher, and
Now what
because
she
she was a
teach?
form teacher,
What she
she
teach?
Yeah,
taught geography, and
geography.
I
Yeah,
did geography straight up to sixth form with her. So Miss Jones was it. Mr. McGregor was, he was more than a teacher for us. He was bona fide virgin. Mr. Lawson, we
Yes,
can't
I
talk
remember
without
him. Yes.
Lawson are the wickedest thing.
Maths teacher, that man.
Physics.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, maths
And
teacher and
physics,
so
yeah.
on. But yeah, those were the outstanding teachers for me. And of course, because Miss Jones continued and did geography in sixth form with us, and Mr. Lawson continued did math and further math and physics. So him covered the entire sixth form for me.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Let me ask you a question now, man. Because even though you kind of retire yourself from sports, did you follow up sports still? How do you feel when Meadowbrook start win up them whole heap of trophy there during the time when you're there at Meadowbrook? Because you come to Meadowbrook, and Meadowbrook was a Cinderella school or a beating stick for most of them school there. How did that shift? How did you deal with that shift in terms of the Meadowbrook start win, Raymond, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was just with admiration. I can't say that there was not any time at all a feeling from me say, but some can me could have did, I could have been part of that. I mean, I'm not going to say that, there was never ever a regret that, I could have been part of that. But I mean, I had accepted the decisions that I had made and, where it took me and stuff. But I was nonetheless proud of the achievement and so on. And Meadowbrook become part of the conversation. So from Howard Thomas when them win the 100-meter, Meadowbrook was part of the conversation for me, when we talk to people externally. You understand? Till when me start to some of the Manning Cup football, brother named Pekka. Johnny Pekka.
Yeah. Johnny Pekka.
Yeah, man.
Great one.
Man, you said general.
Yeah,
General. You understand? And then there's some of the good guys, along with me and after me. I mean, Raymond, as you say, is one of the, not because I'm on the call, but I mean, them man there in a defense and defensive link there, no man, you a workhorse, you understand? And you admire that and see how them man there blossom under them thing. Luke Witter, you understand? Maurice Maynard, you understand? I mean, I want to call them man name and them say, yo, nah, you don't call me name. But, I mean, the whole of them man there, I mean, them know themselves. Them did well. Them did well. And I was proud of their achievement, So so even now in conversation, they say, what I talk about? Remember Meadowbrook when Meadowbrook this? I Meadowbrook that? So at least I can be part of that conversation, and it's on account of that. But I mean, I never totally never not do no sports after because I did end up play TT after that, and I mean, I play TT to this day. But I mean, when they play for Meadowbrook, and Steve Milton, Jamaica #1 come, but them know what they draw me. Draw Jimmy Chang, a guy named Jimmy Chang. You remember Jimmy Chang, Raymond?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Man, Jimmy Chang. Of course, him deal with Jimmy Chang. Me play Michael Hart that year there. The year after, we play Garfield Jones, which was #2. And, me did perform reasonable, you understand? Me never win, but it wasn't a demolition kind of thing. So TT was what I had taken on as sport after that. And, the football thing continued for me outside of, business world and Yui and all them things there. But only TT I play to this day now.
Yeah, man. I understand. And it's a conscious choice he made now, man. And it's a good choice he made because he make a choice to say, he look on the cadet as a trajectory towards a high-paying career. Because if you get in at the flying, you could eat a food for the rest of your life. I put it away there. You see me, I said to you, there's no doubt at all about that because that is a part where a man, a working class man like you, come from a family that doing the park. That I got big difference in your family. So I can't see why I make a conscious decision there. That was because at the time, being a professional footballer was not even something. Even today is a risk to me. You see me, I said to you, you're more likely to succeed. I try to do what you do more than become a professional sportsman. Because you can get injured, you depend on somebody else to pick you. You see me, I said to you, it's just so much more difficult to do that. Sports is a high profile thing, but it's more risky to me. You see me, I said to you, God bless the man who do it and successful at it because it is not an easy thing. Not an easy thing at all. I mean, from experience, me make that decision there after me play Sunlight and we win, and them call me up for Jamaica trials, and me say, the man them give me the scorebook. So me them get a chance to play now, man. Me them get a chance like you, when you get a chance to showcase your skill. I didn't get a chance. And then I look around at the time and I say, you know what? I only 25 playing at the West Indies. Throughout the whole West Indies, I got eat a food from cricket. I must have been like that. I don't like that odds. So I decided to go try a business. And that's what I end up now. I encourage the old man to give me the money for buy the minibus and all. I got 19. You follow me? I said to you, I could have convinced my father. I said, Daddy, I'm going to try this. And the rest of history, as it says. So I understand what you say now, man.
I commend the maturity that he had, though, at that time to make that decision for himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, no,
because a lot of us at that age weren't thinking that way.
No.
So I mean, but I really applaud that those decisions that you made now.
No, right. And that I'm gonna ask again. Before I ask again now, man, where you get that from? Where the side say? But kind of my man in a big man thing that me I do, you know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Big man thing that me I do, nah, man. But you say you go to the teacher, the man say no. At the class saying you go to a JDF, you go to a Tinspen, I say no. My day I say no. A big man thing that nah, man. And a little boy thing in a fifth farm and third, fourth farm. Where you get that from? At that more I know. Where you get the audacity from? That's all me I ask.
Well, I mean, you know, with all due respect, you know, I appreciate, you know, all what my mother do and thing and stuff. But I mean, my mother was not a mother when I go to and say, Mom, I see my homework here, help me kind of. No, another kind of mother than me. Me I deal with what me I deal with. And she does provide for me, deal with what me I deal with. And so, you know, me never really have a father figure. I mean, I didn't, well, yeah, a father figure wasn't in my life actively. My uncle, who was my father figure, he migrated when me leave, you know, come in a first farm. So shortly thereafter, I migrate. So it was really me and mother kind of, and you know, you see how your mother go through and
Tough
thing,
times,
and you,
yeah,
man, and so you make conscious decisions, you know, around one of the I mean, to this day, you know, I remember, and they want to choke up. I said nothing about it, but I remember we go up on a trip, and you know, we go to the airport and thing. A trip at the airport, you know, whichever farm we know, and my mother fry up a chicken leg, and wrap it up in a file paper and give me for carry, you know. Cause I have no, should I give me a lunch money so that me carry upon the thing. Yeah. Virgin, I put the chicken in a jar, see, and you know, wrap up in a file paper. Who carries lunch? You understand? I mean, every man get money and them come and spend money. Me I look like, you know, the poor judge and have I eat lunch, you know, a chicken leg and whatever. So, you know, she give it to me and I pack it up in my clothes drawer, hide it and I need some clothes. And several weeks later, she see it. You know, when she pack up clothes night, and she laugh and she say, but look on this boy, after I fried a good chicken leg and give him. And I mean, it was a joke for her, but it and yeah, anytime I talk about that story,
touch a certain way. I hear you.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure.
My brother, I tell you, you see, what you just described, I'm going to share this too, is enough how we got through it too. And I just call whenever, back in them days, whenever I have no voice for talk, and enough man know say, boy, sometimes you come to school and you don't have no lunch money, and is a next man have to share them lunch or them buy something from Pecan, a man give a piece of bread and butter, and I saw you got through. You know what I mean? But the struggle was real. The struggle was real, because another world I would come from economically opportunistic environments, right? A lot of us were economically challenged, but think about that and then think about the success that Norman has had in his life and what he's been able to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that your mother probably recognized that and she experienced some of that, because being the man that you are, I'm sure she probably recognizes it. So, I mean, big up yourself, my brother. Big up yourself.
Yeah. I mean, for go there, pound, but I tell people all the time, man, you know, me think about it. So I'm trying to think about it too much, but I just remember a part of the experience. But it's just really to underscore, you know, what it is, you know, decisions that I choose that me all come out of this. Yeah. I mean, I'm articulating it away now to sound like how, you know, people write them things in a book.
Yeah.
I don't know that me think about it, but you know, the essence of it was that, me I go north, you understand? And me do the things I remember, me in a 6B and every man say, them out the scholarship exam. I say, what that? And them say, yeah, you know, no, every year you have a UA All Island thing where you do scholarship exam. I say, yo, register for me. Where the farm them there? We just follow what the man them a do, where I do the right thing. And if you know, kids can do that. You understand? You don't have to know everything, but just follow the people them who quote unquote are do the things that are leading at the direction that you want to go. And
ask the right questions and move with the right crowd. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that was beauty of Meadowbrook, because you could have made the choice. If you want to play ball, or you want to go elite, not elite, academic excellence, and you chose the one that you want. Because the exposure was there. That's the beauty of Meadowbrook. It was a melting pot in a way. Well, if you want to go to just like what you chose now, man, it was there. You're right. Because all you need is the opportunity, You're a man say, you can't do this. And you say, okay, tell me about it. And it there you Meadowbrook for do. So that is a powerful thing about the school to itself, man. Because I never school stayed away there. So it's you made the choice. You made the choice. I mean, I tell you, man, it's a powerful thing you talk about, man. But let me ask you another question. I talk about field trip. Any fun memories of Meadowbrook? On field trip or in the classroom you want to talk about? Tell me some of the fun memories them where you remember.
Well, I mean, the cadet camps were always a fun exercise, When the time man asleep, I polish them and toothpaste and box them in the dark there, and all kind of things. Remember, man, we have a cadet camp and I carry my pajama and put it in my thing, for sleep and thing. And remember sleeping time come. And I don't remember who. A man take out in pajama and put it on. I say, every man laugh, the man to sky. I say, no, man, look over, I'm all in pajama, brother. We can't take it out now. I want like bad man sleep in a shorts and t-shirt or sweatsuit or something, but you cannot put on all your Spider-Man pajamas. And I remember the man of all Spider-Man pajamas, I would say, the man get teasing till him weak.
Laugh to scan, yeah.
Yeah, man, the man laugh him to scan, the man laugh him to scan.
Because I know, man. That's what I know.
Yeah.
No, I can't count, man.
And I mean, I remember acting in a play, in a Meadowbrook play. So I went on to do a little bit of acting by the time I got the sixth form and so on. A Meadowbrook play, and was starred by Yolande Henry at the time, no doubt. Yeah, everybody's crush, including me. And Yolande in that play, the man of our opening scene, My Virgin Bloaty, where the man him opened the curtain, me and him supposed to be in a classroom, I was supposed to have a dialogue. And when the man him opened the curtain, I was supposed to start talk. I don't know which muscles the man find on his face, but we see the man, like a jaw, a chimble. When we see the man jaw, a chimble. The man gets stage fright, man jaw, a chimble. To this day, man, to this day.
Now on.
We say God was one of them, funny. I mean, real. I mean, we laugh after it. Then there was an era that we brought in a quote unquote psychologist, Ching Tong.
You remember him? Yeah, I remember him, man.
Yeah, and boy, I mean, we had some fun times with Ching Tong. Them had some sessions where, them sessions where you search for yourself and, everybody kind of conscious of that now. But back in the day, it was yeah, man. It was
sixth farm.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And Chin Tong and everybody go down in some dark room and we hug up each other, like a friend hug. Say, yo, dog, you're nice. Yeah.
Yes, that's so interesting now, man.
Watch what you thought the things that we don't know, man. Watch what you thought the things.
Yo. You know, yo, Ching Tong, you know, have another session. You understand? Um, uh, we have some troubles, you know, like teachers, you know, our teacher, Mr. Hassan. Mr. Hassan was a character, you know, in
Yes,
terms of
yes,
our
yes,
experience.
yes, yes, yeah.
You know, we didn't have a class. Anytime you don't want to have no class, you know the art studio, some, you know, remote place. When you don't want a class, you just say lizard, and everybody scatter. uh, you know what I'm saying? No, we now come back, sir. We now come back till you find the lizard. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that time the lizard again. Does that, but class mash up after that. But I mean, you know, they're a whole stuff,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
other things that we had experienced, yeah.
Let me ask you something else about the cadet corps and the fact that under the side lead the drum corps on a bottom field. When did that start? 'Cause I don't remember when I was school now. When did the idea and who started up that where when I lead like a parade go down a bottom field?
Yeah, it was I think it was part of the house, I don't know if it was sports day tradition
Yeah,
that we
sports
were
day.
leading
Yeah.
all the groups. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what had led to it,
That's,
but
I think
because you're
that's
right,
early
it wasn't
80s,
happening
man.
before. Yeah. And by the way, I can't mention this without saying that me and another, I was in the mighty Saunders. So for all who listen to this, the mighty Saunders
Oh,
from
gosh.
first farm
You had to go there, you
to,
know, man. You had to go there.
yeah, man, to upper six, Saunders
You know, the
win
mighty Sanders,
every
yes.
year. Every year, you understand? With, you know, Courtney Strodick and the likes, the
Yeah, yeah.
mighty Saunders. Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't know what led to it, but we had, you know, they started to use us to lead parade going down to sports day. And yeah, I remember that experience being a great experience for us. And the celebration, the different teams, you know, and different bands. I mean, the different houses coming behind
So
us
you
and
lead
things. So
Sanders, or you lead the whole
yeah,
school?
I don't know that it was not the whole
Who
school,
the
but
school
I
you lead?
mean,
Okay.
Sanders.
I
Yeah,
got you.
but Sanders, you know, Sanders.
A
I
Sanders
mean,
you represent. I hear
Sanders
you.
was seeded, you know. Sanders was seeded, you know. I mean, Miss McLennan was
Yeah, she
in
kind of put her
Sanders, you know.
foot on the
So,
scale a
I mean,
certain way. Yes, we know that. We know.
yeah, yeah, you know. So
She,
when we
rec-
buy people, we buy them.
she recruit the best. She was a good recruiter now, man. I agree
Right.
with you.
Hey,
Uh, uh,
Sanders
uh,
used to recruit people from other hosts to, you know,
Yes,
become
yes,
Sanders, you know.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
man,
yes,
yeah, man,
yeah,
yeah, man,
yeah.
yeah, man. So them used to do it, man, yeah, man.
But
yeah.
let me ask you another question now, man. What the most embarrassing moment you can look back on a Meadowbrook where you can remember with a smile?
Wow. Uh, hmm. Hmm.
Are so much of them?
Oh, no. So I remember when we were in sixth form
Yeah.
and the teacher at the time who used to teach us GP, I can't remember Rufus' right name now, but Rufus
Yeah, me
walk
can't
around the
remember her name.
class.
Me can't remember her name either, you know. Yes, me know what you're
Yeah, I
talking about.
remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, she walk around the class and say, "All right, I'm going to tell all the students inside here who are going to get you for general paper.
And you at the time,
Uh,
remind me what that mean again in that six me remember
ungraded,
ungraded. Okay,
ungraded,
Ungraded.
yeah.
ungraded. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Forget that
It's
grade come up
feeling
and
at
take
this.
level. Yes, now man.
Yeah, yeah. And I tell you, say, when she walk out the class, I go beside Garfield. This, I say, you come beside me. This, you. You understand? And so on. And we had this in our mind. Say, you want to see? I'll prove her wrong. So tell her something, miss. We'll prove you wrong. I think that's what she wanted to bring out, you know, a challenge to prove
Yeah.
her wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, me did get the U. You understand? Me did get the U.
So now,
So,
with the same Brutus there, right? Or whatever we used to call her. You remember you named Tyrone Dixon that was in sixth form with us?
Yes, man. Yes, man.
All right.
Yeah, man.
So I don't know if you know Tyrone Prince, but Tyrone was brilliant, man. But him lazy, right? It's a man even though he not only for studying things. So Brutus gave us an assignment, and she said, "Boy, everybody coming to class." And she said, "Boy, Tyrone and Master, and then at the back of the sixth form group, I kind of go on with them foolishness." And she said, "Mr. Dixon, why don't you get up and read what you wrote for the assignment?" And Tyrone get up, He now have nothing on the piece of paper, Like the paper blank, jelly. Right? And the man start to read. I talk about it. I mean, everything was coherent and intelligent and everything made sense. And me don't know how she realized I'm a scammer, And she said, "Hold on a second, can you repeat that last sentence again?" Swallow Tyrone, man. Bad tell you, man. And then she said, "Brick, come up here with your paper."
Yeah.
You remember that? You remember we didn't do that,
Rufus. Yeah, man. Rufus was a terrorist, man. You know when you write a essay, it's nice if you can put a quote. And so anyway, I make up a quote and say, as the great Ralph Brown said, I'm gonna put something in a quote and think. You see, we get back the people from Rufus Mark. With the Rufus Mark to pass the body than you.
Ralph Brown.
No, come to know that.
And you have to remind the people, man, this is before you can Google nothing on the internet on your phone, for check nothing,
Yeah, no, you could Google
that. And the library did limit
yeah,
the library dead, but all the information you couldn't get from the library, man. You have to have access to different libraries. So yeah, when you talk about looking for information. Yes,
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm
some
sure
great
there are
teachers,
other
man.
embarrassing moments. I mean, not coming to mind right now, really.
Let me ask you a different type of question now, man. Which song you remember? We stand out of Meadowbrook. We are going Meadowbrook. Which song? Whether local or foreign?
We are conquerors. We are conquerors. Soul adventurers.
Again.
Run for Sanders. Shoom choom. Sanders taking over. Say that song leave an indelible mark on me because you have man like what name Harold Cameron. The brother the big man, and them have some big man them time. Me I say six farmers they beard up and look like big man them time, And when me say me go inside at the house meeting and the man in at the physics lab and them used to just lick down on the decks with the chair and thing, and it was and then you have some man on the treble and lick on the window at the same time. So that song there, I mean, we are conquerors.
Yeah, I
understand?
I remember that song. Man. I just talk about that now. Remember that song there? Yes,
Yeah, man.
With the cheerleaders, them. Sanders, they have the big cheerleader, the top cheerleader, them too, Even though I never my house, I know that, because my sister and them was part of the cheerleading team there. Sanders.
I mean, the only other song, the other one was, let every new fella now join in a song. Viva la company, viva l'amour, viva l'amour. Viva l'amour, viva l'amour, viva l'amour, viva l'amour, viva la company. It's a song where Spanner did like, and she just, just whip it up every time, and everybody just getting her friends and sing it. It's a light-hearted feeling kind of song. But,
what was the relationship like with Mr. Spanner? You have any run into that or any dealings?
Yeah, man, Spanner, they love Spanner. They love Spanner. And she, I thought she loved me. She used to give me a slap up on the back, bum, 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 bum. Young Naar, and, but, I mean, no. I never have any run-ins. Probably I don't know if it was she or Miss. Yeah, a guy named Campbell. Two of them used to come Meadowbrook, and we had a little stone throwing thing. I him did throw the stone, and she them they call us in the office, and she according to her Campbell tell her say me throw the stone. So I said that the man tell you. I said that the man really tell you. And she said yes. He said you throw the stone. I said miss, let me tell you, it's Campbell throw the stone. Since you want to know, because whenever they are talk man about it, I wasn't
since
talking.
you under the bus, I said yeah.
Well, so much over the boss. I should have said thank you. It's a trick. Spot a trick.
Trick, yeah.
I say, yo, nah, you're
Spanner was smart, yo.
Feels like pioneer.
Yeah, man. I couldn't believe it, man. I mean, yeah.
Spanner. Sometimes, when you think back on anything, them smarter than we enough ways, because I experienced, I know for what them I did, and I know all the tricks that we were going to try and all them. Yeah.
But I could have never. After me, I hold it down, because she talked to the two, we had nobody now admit who I chose the stone first.
Yeah.
No. She just separate, man. Divide and conquer.
Come like
you understand?
She work with the FBI or the CIA. She don't filter.
So the man said, no, you said that he threw the stone. You understand?
Yeah. You can't go back on that at all. You can't back. No.
No, she did catch me.
Yeah. Let me ask you another question now, man. What's the best learning experience you get from Meadowbrook?
The best learning experience I got. I mean, I think, I've been talking about it in a way. I don't know how you succinctly put it. I mean, but there are some gems, certainly through math teacher McGregor. All of them I can't remember now, but I remember just how I felt at the time, how he made me feel at the time. Whether it is true one thing that him say or a series of things that he would have said over time, that built my confidence even beyond before, and just really put me on a path of being a math student. Yeah. I mean, I just remember how he made me feel. I mean, and Dave, I'm sure Dave would say the same thing. Well, he probably have different things, but I mean, we were part of a shared experience with Mr. McGregor. Yeah, and yeah, I think I can't remember how it made me feel, and I can't remember the specific thing that he had said, but those things that he did say made me feel just very confident in being a math student. And in my mind, once you're math, you're brighter than anything else. That was I got that confident. Yeah.
Yeah, math's one of them subjects. Once you get it, it's like you feel superior to every other people. All of the other subjects.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
like
you did.
And even today, you realize that other man who understand computing and programming, everything to do with maths. At the bottom around the place. Yeah. You can't see that. So, what life lesson you learn at Meadowbrook, you pass on to your friends and family? Can you talk about your son then? What life lesson you learn at Meadowbrook, you pass on to them?
I mean, those experiences that I had with respect to going after your opportunity. No man now go put it in your lap. You have to go for it. You have to take it. And as I say, I mean, it's a theme that continued. I mean, beyond the limit of high school, I'd have one or two other encounters which has brought me to where I'm at, kind of thing. But yeah, that would have been going for your opportunity. And as I said, the you know, despite financial positions and so on, what you have in your head can become your superpower. So whether people richer than you, superior to you, what we would call superior to us. Now, kind of not really superior. Everybody different. But not for you to feel underrated or, I can't find the right word. But in essence, what I'm saying is you have a brain, and you can apply yourself and develop and do well. I also share that there is not one linear path, to get to where you need to go. And as I said, there are many stories we can tell you. Some of the same guys who I was in peer group with, before, early high school and even in my community, they're on other trajectories. Some in a jail, some of them get murdered, etc.
Yeah.
And so, different paths, people taking on different paths. And I could have continued on a different on a same path. Same and except, that water bridge here, if you will, that kind of put me on a different trajectory. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a strong message now, and for all of the young people may I listen. Right now, as we live in the world, we're going to have some wicked changing time and come up, and we having your brain are the most important asset, how you think. And you have to learn to think for yourself. And the opportunity is where you can create out of your brain, and not necessarily where you're going to learn. You follow me, I said to you. So, Norman, look like him drop off, Reminder there? Dante?
Yeah, I'm there.
Look like Norman drop off.
I wonder if not. Raymond there?
Yeah, man, I'm here, man. I'm here.
Norman
Okay.
drop off.
Yeah.
Norman drop off. Him probably come back on.
Let me see. I'm going to call him and see if he realize him not on. Probably him say, make a note at the time. Probably do him to say him not on.
Yeah.
Back. You're back on now, man. Sorry, yeah. Yeah,
My
man.
bad.
Yeah. Okay, you realize that okay, cool. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm saying about, people who are listening to this thing and, I guess lessons and so on. Yeah.
Let me ask another question to do, and this can apply for all the way, all around, because bear in mind where the video will come up with Meadowbrook last week or the last couple of weeks. So message you for existing students, our future students and staff member of Meadowbrook. We're going to listen to this podcast and next year, next 10 years, what message you have for them? We're going to Meadowbrook.
Yeah. Boy, some deep questions, yeah. You're asking me. You understand? Deep. I don't want to be I don't want to be flippant and just give a off the cuff response or even one of those canned responses. What would I say to them? Hmm. Yeah, it's probably what I say. It'll probably not be very very popular. I think it's a sign of the times. It's a sign of the times that we're in, and the most I can say is that as we go through this time, I believe that there is, better will emerge from all of this. I think better will emerge from all of this. There is if you want to call it, before something new emerged, there's that chaos of, everything seemed to be going down the drain, before something emerged that, is new and quote unquote better. And I still think that there are positives, and opportunities, that we can try and identify in these situations. I know how it look, what is happening there, what we see on the images and so on. But what's happening with people as individuals. Sometimes we're not fully aware, and I would invite us to be a little bit more compassionate about people and people's circumstances and where they're coming from. Because truth be told, if you stand in somebody else's shoes and understand where they're coming from, you can understand some of the behaviors. So I would, just invite people to be,
Hello? Are you guys there?
Yeah,
Or
man.
am I
Yeah,
losing?
yeah,
Man.
Hello?
yeah, man. We
yeah,
are.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
are, man. Yeah.
Hello?
yeah,
Come like
Yeah,
it, man.
we're
yeah,
hearing you, Raymond.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
man. Me agree with
yeah,
you. I agree with you. 100%. Dante drop off.
yeah,
No, man, I'm
yeah,
here, man.
Oh, Raymond drop
yeah,
off. I would
Mm-hmm.
have gone. Oh, you're back, Raymond?
But
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna go be entirely prescriptive. I believe, some new and better things will emerge from all this. But I also just, invite a little bit of, as I said, compassion about, people's situations and so on. It's easy for us to chastise and create rules and, this ought not to be and so on. But what we're seeing is symptomatic of something deeper, I believe. And that deeper issue is where we need to go and, try address.
I agree with you now, man. 100%. It might
yeah,
sound unpopular.
I think the chairperson, the school chair, the board chair, kind of alluded to that in her statement and discussion, but she did it a bit in a little way that you know she's being criticized for it. But that's what she's trying to say actually, that what is happening is not just a Meadowbrook thing.
And it is not. It is
It's
not.
it's a symptom of what's happening in the wider society.
And the world, not just Jamaica alone. The wider
World,
world.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
the world,
Mm,
the world,
You
the
put it
world,
right. You
the
put it
world.
good now. We
Mm,
go through a transitional period
mm,
and we don't know. Opportunities are going there. So I agree with you 100%. Opportunities are going there big time. So
mm,
I agree with you.
yeah,
That's
and
something
and I
to
think yeah. It's good that you said that we have to if we have to have hope as at least that better will emerge.
what I will always
mm,
come,
You know?
Dante. It's just
Yeah,
always a
yeah. We have
transitional
to
period.
always
Yeah.
be
Because the human
be,
brain,
be
the thing always
hopeful
correct. Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly.
positive
Exactly. And things not stay the
towards
same. You're
that.
certain about that,
Hmm.
you know. Things not
I
stay the
think that,
same.
evolution and,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. It's almost like it go
growth
through
on it.
a creative
Go
destruction
ahead, go ahead.
sometimes. No, go ahead now, man. It's a creative destructive thing we I go through. I mean, I say it's creative but it's destructive at the same time because it's like the old way have to go and then a new, more creative way come out. It look like, I just say it's like a song where I go through and it is, but better will
Mm,
come. As someone look on it. I not say
Oh,
it as a
well,
cliche.
I think we have to encourage the teachers and the students that are there still to not give up. You know what I mean? The school has a mission and an objective, and we need to keep that in focus, right? And I'm a glass half full kind of person most
Yeah,
of
I
the
mean,
time. You know what I
I'm there
mean?
to
So
Raymond.
so
No,
yeah. So for me, me just I hope so, boy, we can
but
turn the corner upon this and focus on
and
why the school is existing in the first place, and focus on those kids that we can help, and those that want to have the help, provide that help. If they don't want the help, then them can move on. But
and,
that's kind of the way me look on it.
and we as one student can do a whole heap in terms of say, I'm going to tell you because somebody give me a suggestion and because I never hear the podcast, I'm going to say it to you. So, I mean, Salome was on a podcast with me. She said she was in Sally Rose, right? And she mentioned said she was in Jamaica and she carried a little boy, a little girl, I don't remember what it was. But she just carried around the door today. And the impact we had on the student was so profound. And then we talk to somebody else, so former head girl, Dana Philibert, Dana White Philibert, and she come to me and me and her talk about it and she said, but we could have an idea in terms, and it have a structure in a way. I mean, I just say, if you just go up there, it's almost like me want to set up a thing. Me not like a system set up where a man can just send a money get your man at Jamaica, or if a man there at Jamaica, him just go spend a $10 one day. Whatever it costs at Jamaica, for go buy a lunch with a youth and just sit down and talk to them. 15 minutes, and just have a program, a consistent program where all students just are going to the school and just talk to the youth them. Not no big dinner or nothing, just go buy a lunch and you them sit down under the tree where you used to sit down, under the whatever. I mean, I say if you invade the school one day, just say every day a different man or a different girl go there and just go spend. And trust me, the vibe of the school are changing in no time because you and them interact. It's a different generation interact. And you just like you said now, man, you're going to hear what go on. Because I don't think the dialogue will take place, the dialogue on a personal level, So we don't know. But by we talking to the student, them, you get back and you get feedback and know exactly what go on. And just having a 15-minute lunch with them. If the amount of what per student just one time a year or one time, it would make a difference. And it now go cost some heap of money, but a little bit of time. But it have to structure a certain way and have to organize and run through the school. I'm properly vetted. If I may say it, but there's something I think can work to change the dynamic of the school.
I can tell you, so, we started a mentorship program.
Yeah, something like that. About, yeah.
Brigadier Raj Mason was spearheading it, and a component of it. There was a component of it that is similar to what you're discussing there, where we encouraged past students. There was we had a what you call a day where we not a career day. We had some days that we encouraged past students to come and sit. And, we almost encourage something similar to what you're discussing, like an adapt a student type of thing.
Yeah.
Where and I personally, I've had some mentorship sessions with some of the youths. I in fact, I kind of, at various points in time, since I leave Meadowbrook, kind of adopt a particular youth and walk him through and thing, Go him house, see how him doing in his environment, see how his environment affected him. Same like what you hear Naar say. I can remember there was a youth who live up a common, and he used to play football too. So, the principal at the time say if him get one subject, him would have make him repeat or make him go sixth form. And we took up the youth there. At the end of the day, he got 7 subjects. I think 5 of them was one.
Yeah.
So if you're able to see the youth them environment where them coming from, you'll have more as what Naar said, compassion and empathy. And with that you're better able to assist them instead of staying from afar in your reality and criticizing them.
Right. Because we're not both sending money, both spending time. And that's why I just had limited to a way if it's a 15 or 30 minutes. Because maybe that's all a man can do sometime. But it's going to make a difference. It's going to make a difference, man. It's going to make a difference. I hope, I talk back to Dan about it. I hope we can put an infrastructure in place where it can be work. A man just sign up for a program and do it. So
there is a program, I can tell you. There's a program.
Yeah.
I don't know how much the current. I think the current exec. You remember there was the whole COVID thing and all of that. A lot of these programs just now being revitalized.
Yeah. Me talk about it and all that.
It's something that we can look into.
And ramp up to a certain level.
Assisting. Yeah, man.
Yeah, we can't give up on the youth them still.
No.
We have to find a way for rescue them out of whatever situation they're in and get them the tools, for kind of help them deal with some of these things in a better way. You know what I mean? And a lot of them, they don't know no different. I mean, they don't know different. So we have to find, but at the same time, I'm going to say this, and Norman said this earlier, it might not be unpopular, what I'm going to say, but I also believe that there's Meadowbrook was steeped as an organization, as a school, as an academic institution there was discipline at the school. You know,
Yeah.
as much as Norman saying was bad man, you hear him say when Mr. Top come and the dog, him see the dog, then it's a different thing. We need to find a way to get, I'm not saying that necessarily we have to get back to that, but we need to kind of set the bar very high for these kids when it comes to discipline. All right?
Yeah.
Because if you set the bar low, they're going to meet the bar. Trust me.
Yeah.
If you set the bar high, they're going to meet the bar. And if any of us, all of us have kids, we know that, right? So, yeah, man, let's try and don't give up on the kids, but at the same time, set the bar high for them. You know what I mean? And encourage them to the better.
A part of that, you know, is having positive role models. Because, I mean, every man knows that we don't dare say about that bad boy, but we know that me was a terrorist in a school, so to speak. You know, me that wayward. And a part of and in fact, you know, one of the things that helped me, and I say it to Tony more as well. I was fortunate to have, you know, I've had, even while I was in school, I had a lot of positive role models. So for example, here I talk about when I was at IBM and me say Naar and them man they come in as Meadowbrook man. Those things were, I'd say, you know, those are some of the things that helped. I mean, Fuzzy asked me the other day, what led to me changing? Because him say him couldn't, based on what he experienced of me in school, him couldn't see me being where I am today.
You never seen nothing but
one of the things is that I had a lot of positive role models. And here Naar say, you see which part certain type of man I go, and you follow with them though. So I was able to have a lot of persons. I mean, all of the man them were in this now were positive role models for me. Yeah. Everybody on this card. Naar in drum corps. Raymond, remember me and Raymond I go up in the hills many days. Me I carry Raymond boots and all them things there when him I come from training and all these things. But just those little talks and all these things, you know, Jelly, you know it go. The inspirational captain. All of these things were helped. As I say, all of them small things help for change. So maybe we need to make the students them now say a lot more positive role models.
Yeah, but before you go
they can choose a path.
Before you go away, Raymond, anytime you're ready and you want to leave, if you want, you can just go out. Come understand say.
Yeah, no man, I just want to say, boy, Bridget, it's a pleasure. Love the eye, and it's just been great to reminisce and go through this with you. And I just wish God's continued blessings on you and your family and everything that you touch. You know what I mean? And just more power, more strength, more love, you know? But we have to go run over this place, you know, because these people are waiting for me from about 7 o'clock. Yeah, respect.
Yeah, big up yourself. Raymond.
Blessings, Raymond.
Yeah, man, cool, yeah. So, man, you ever say something?
Yeah, no, I was going to say something about Tegre. I mean, Tegre, and I call him Tegre, affectionately. It's how you me love, you know. I'm not saying the kind of people I don't know. Tegre was a trouble, you know, not trouble like bad boy, you know. Tegre was trouble, you know. You understand? And Tegre, I mean, it was a trouble. The man just say, Irie. Because we used to have a thing like the man used to say, I have you. You understand? You remember that, Tegre?
Yeah. Hey, babe.
I couldn't even explain all of that to Jelly. But I mean, Mr. Man evolved in a way that and not just now. I saw it through the cadet force and them time there. Just seeing the man go through the changes and transformation, and you know, one of the guys that along with a number of others, Maurice, and I'm not gonna name everybody, but the man them do excellent work in support of the school, support of the students of the school, and I just want to use the opportunity to big them up, you understand, in a way that you know, well deserved, you know, the kudos to all the work that they have been doing. And I don't know that nobody pay them for do this, they do it out of their own volition, and the kind of support that them provide for students and the school development. I mean, it's, I just want to laud those efforts. So yeah, big up yourself, Tegre. You understand?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Blessings, Jamaica.
Yeah. I just a
Yeah.
couple more questions me have now, man. I seem to take it, although you say never have no story. A 2.5
Yeah.
hour there. 2.5 hour there. It's not you see when you hear the story of sometimes you say, oh the man them talk. No, you say when you come and you start talking the conversation flow. I say, but I just a couple more questions me have. And one of them, and I don't know if you could answer question, but you can answer this first. Nah, man. How would it make you feel? I bring up back all the Meadowbrook memories after all these years.
Good. Raymond bring up that story there. Where when we play football there, that match there. And I didn't remember it. I mean that in the farthest recesses of my mind. And when Raymond bring up that story there,
Flashback it
I
out
mean,
you.
yeah man, and just the whole conversation talking to people who were part of an era and part of a time. I'm not telling you, it feel good. It feel good. I can't say I've listened to every one of these sessions, Jelly, but I mean, just being part of the experience of sharing it feels good for me to be able to share my story, and if it can help somebody, yeah. And I think part of it too is, I showed a contrast between the me early years and the me later years.
Yeah.
And not that I am successful now like Jeff Bezos, but I mean, it certainly put me on a path that I think is, attributed to who I am, and kind of thing, the things that are happening
Yeah, man.
beneficial for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so yeah, no, it's good. It's good, Jelly. This is a good thing that you are doing. You understand? I'm glad you expanded, beyond the cricket team and what you initially intended, and so many different stories, because we all have stories.
Yeah, man.
We all have
Exactly.
stories.
That's the point.
And
That's the point now, man.
yeah, man.
I said, a man come and say, nah, I remember. I said, nah, man. Everybody remember. Him just have to come Meadowbrook for one day, and him have a true story for tell me. I tell you that.
Yeah.
I saw me look on it now, man. I saw me look on it. I saw exactly me look on it. I appreciate that, my brother. Tell Greg, me ask you a
Yeah.
question there. Me ask you a question there before. How it make you feel I bring up back all the memories there? You did it, Dante? Come like him now here, man. Nah, man, you did it still?
Yeah, man, I'm still here.
Oh, I don't know what Dante there. All right, me ask you. Dante drop. Don't know if I'm here one to the rest of the evening. But a couple more questions I have now, man. But this can work, see, man. Is there any question or topic where you think me could have bring up, but me never bring up at all? Nah, man.
Yeah, I'm still here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Nah, man. Any question at all where you think say we could have bring up? Or anything where you want to talk about but me never bring up at all? The floor is yours.
In fairness, you allow the conversation to flow. And truth be told, in preparation for this, I say, I'm gonna give thought to some things. I'm gonna go through first farm, I'm gonna go through second farm, I'm gonna go through different, and I mean, it's not everything I can share here, or is everything I remember.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly the high points, and you allow the opportunity. You ask the right question. There are some questions that you ask that probably on the fly I would require a little bit of thinking before. So one or two of those that would help so that we can enrich the impact of some of those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't want you to ask me a question and boy, I never really think about it. I'm just flash off a little answer there. I really want to,
like a
yeah, flip and
yeah,
answer.
yeah.
I want to be able to, so probably that, share some of those questions before, because you have some really telling questions that I think would help other people benefit from it. But the fact that you allow me just to share the stories and stuff and the different parallels, whether it is the sports, whether it is the cadet, whether it is the academics, you allow me the opportunity to share it. No, I think I covered off. What more than anything was those two stories for grab the opportunity. I really want, to tell those stories, and I'm glad they allow me the opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I just two more questions now. Well, one question and then the closing remark. The last question I always ask anybody. Well, Dante look like him come back. Dante, are you here?
Yeah, man, I'm here. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No problem.
Internet issues.
I forgot. Same question I ask now, man. Is there any question where Tim could have asked now, man, or any topic we want to bring up we never bring up at all?
No, I think we covered everything that I wanted to ask. The jump core cadet things came up. Yeah, which is something that.
And that's a good advice. I would think about that and say that sure some of the questions some of the questions I just said like it help if you think about it, and I say yeah, I can share it. That's not a problem. I'm going to start it. I've never done it before. Nobody has suggested, but yeah, because sometimes it just make the conversation flow. But
no, that's important, That's important, make the conversation.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
but there are some,
it's not the
you have some impact questions. Yeah, you have some impact questions where you really want people to think about it and not to just provide a canned answer.
That's a good idea you give me. I'm going to start with that. Just give people to think about like a day or two before and say, boy, these are some of the questions I might ask. That's a good idea.
Man. Yeah.
So let me ask you the last question now, man, because everybody come them get the first question them ask. I have the last question. What made Meadowbrook magical? That's one of them they want to think about, all right?
No, I mean, there are a number of elements. Saunders being, Meadowbrook magical, the house. Howard Thomas, the 100-meter there, magical. The Rhodes Scholars that we have gotten, make it magical. Knowing that I was part of the experiencing those people, and all life stories that we shared, the fact that it's a co-ed school makes it magical. The cadet force and the opportunity that it offers me, and it allowed me and still potentially offer to other persons, was magical. So I don't know that there's one, but put all together, and thinking about it like it is. I mean, like this, it feels good, and in a way, it was a magical experience, and I'm truly, truly happy that I went to Meadowbrook. This is not one of the sour grapes things. Meadowbrook chose me. I'm truly happy.
Yeah.
Apart from it being one of the happiest days in my life when I find out to me, I go, my past common entrance, and it turned out to be Meadowbrook. I'm truly happy for the entire experience that I have had, and I see, where all of it, is, well, clearly, like everybody else, lead me to where I'm at right now. So, yeah, I'm grateful for Meadowbrook for that.
You won't do it again, and you go back to Meadowbrook same way.
Yeah, man, no, man, I go back to Meadowbrook, man. Knowing what I know now, I would go back to Meadowbrook.
Same way. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Enough man Great. Yeah. All right, so before we close out, now let's ask the two, anybody upon anything. Any closing remark? Dante, you first. Any closing remark before we close this out?
Well, as I say, it's a great pleasure. To chat and have discussions with the greats of Meadowbrook. I truly regard Jamaica Naar as one of the greats, one of the legends of Meadowbrook. And, he has been an inspiration for me through many stages of my life. I've seen him. You don't know this, Jerry, but even in our professions, we cross each other a lot.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
man, yeah, man. So it, Naar has been an inspiration. It's always a pleasure. And, hearing his perspective now on certain things, never knew about that I couldn't imagine that there was any sort of inferiority complex during his time at school. It never showed that, which now more solidifies that the inspiration to me to know that, at that time when he was being an inspiration, he was going through those
The
kinds of
challenger, yeah.
challenges,
Yeah.
So that is good. Enough kudos to you, John Major. And it's always a blessing, brethren. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Gentlemen, I know you put together some man that does make me feel good and, really remember the thing. Thanks, Tigger. Thanks, to Raymond who was on earlier. So appropriately being part of that journey so that they're able to underscore some of, the experiences. But Jelly, this has been a positive experience for me. And hopefully through something that I've shared, somebody can benefit from it. Because as I say, we learn from each other's stories and we all have stories. This is a good thing that you're doing, a great thing that you're doing. And I'm thankful and honored that, whoever suggested me, to have me part of these discussions. So, to all the people who are part of my journey in Meadowbrook, unknown ourselves, and listening to this, me just want to say thank you now for being part of that journey in whatever shape or form you have molded me into being who I am today. And I appreciate it so much, So, yeah, that's it for me.
Man. So thank you. Blessings to the two of you. So, I'm close this out. Donovan, Dante, Tegreg, Thomas, Norman Naar, the guests on the podcast today. And Raymond Robinson, him not here, but he was here for most of it. God bless him. God bless all of you for come cheer on it almost 3 hours this evening with me for share the conversation that everybody can hear. This is an inspiring story now, man. Because you come and just flow. And as we say, every conversation different. And I'm glad you come and share your story the way you share it. It's me I said you want to share a story. I'm glad you come share a story. So I close this out and I always say God bless all the way with upon this and God bless Meadowbrook High School and thank you for coming and sharing the time. And have a wonderful day, brother. Yeah, man.
More blessings.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
More blessings.
Yeah,
More
man.
blessings.
All right, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. So subscribe to Meadowbrook Memories YouTube channel right now and never miss another memorable conversation.
Thanks for listening to Meadowbrook Memories, and remember to give us all the support and encouragement you can on whatever social media platform you are listening. And special thanks to my production manager, Kyle Prince, who takes care of everything involved in getting the podcast out every week, and without him, this podcast would not be possible. It is his expertise that allows me to do what I love doing every week, having great conversations about Meadowbrook Memories, and he's responsible for everything else. So again, thanks to my production manager, Kyle Prince.